in an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. Later Wednesday, Moore was detained by police for an alleged assault. No word yet on if charges are going to be filed. Baseball winter meetings coming to a close on Wednesday in Orlando. Only rumors for the Guardians are that ESPN reports club does plan to hang on to left fielder Stephen Kwan. The four-time Gold Glover still under team control for another 2 years, set to make about $9 million next season. Don't miss the Kevin Stefanski Show, followed by Thursday Night Football. All starts tonight at 7 o'clock. Right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas. Up next time for the Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima here on 92.3 The Fan.
The Afternoon Drive.
Is there any world that we live in where Stefanski is the head coach next year?
Yeah. I don't put anything past the hubris of Jimmy Haslam.
If Stefanski still has his job next year, it's because he was in on the whatever we're calling this where they lose a lot of games. There would be a hard time convincing me otherwise. This coming from the owner that was giving bonuses to Hugh Jackson for losses, I'm of the belief that if he still has his job next year, the call was coming from inside the house. He was playing along with it the entire time.
The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. Ready. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan. The Ken Carman Show with Anthony Lima.
Michigan concluded an investigation into Sharon Moore earlier Wednesday and determined with credible evidence that he had a inappropriate relationship with a staff member against university policy and his own contract, and he was immediately fired for cause. But soon after that, at about 4:10 p.m., Pittsfield Township Police just outside Ann Arbor responded to a call to residents where they were there to investigate an alleged assault. Sharon Moore had left the place at that time. At 8:30 tonight, he was brought to the Washtenaw County Jail, where he is in custody due to the alleged assault, and actual charges will be determined by the Washtenaw County Prosecutor's Office in the next day or so.
This is Cleveland Sports Radio, 92.3 The Fan.
Audio courtesy of ESPN. Holy wow. Good morning.
Morning, Kenny.
So I was surprised, and then I had a lot of opinions, and then this has to be treated with some delicacy here. I mean, the guy has got kids and he's got a wife, and now there's an alleged assault here. This is an assistant coach that he might have allegedly assaulted, and he was threatening self-harm, and this is as sordid and ugly as it possibly gets. What was your first thought when you saw that Sharon Moore got fired?
That I remember 2 weeks ago, obviously totally independent of any of this stuff. I remember Keith, this was after, Michigan loses to Ohio State, and Keith was here, Keith Britton, our boss, who's a big Michigan fan. And I remember saying, like, hey, is there any chance they fire Moore? Is there any chance whatsoever? And he was kind of like so dismissive. Like, no, obviously we didn't know about all of this. But the reason I was saying that is I feel like Michigan could have a massive upgrade over Moore.
Yeah.
Like, you had even mentioned if he was available,
I said on the air
tomorrow, who would pick him up?
I said he was at one point before Jim Harbaugh was gone, and there was that like he was like, I think it was brought up as like a secondary level candidate for Purdue, and Purdue's gone through their own struggles here over the last few years.
Michigan,
and then he gets made the Michigan coach. And I could say, I'd love to say, well, this is this does not happen. I mean, guys end up being, the job ends up, who was the guy who took over for, at West Virginia, was it Bill Stewart?
Yeah.
Like some guys are loved and it ends up being too big of a job for them. They're career assistants, and then you find out why they're career assistants. Nobody saw this coming. This is asinine. This whole sordid deal is ridiculous to nearly tragic, thank God. Nothing like that happened because the possibilities of things that we're reading about. But going back to it, this is why, like college football, you always have to pay attention to the message boards at some level. They are completely unhinged, and so much of it is ridiculous. But some of it that you find is true. And there were plenty of people going, I was hearing about this months ago. I was on the Go Blue thing, and I was on the message boards. It's like, yeah, because these are massive programs with lots of money and lots of people, and they're all in little bitty towns. Ann Arbor's not a big town. I've been there. Tone's been there. Owen's been. We've all been there. Not a big town, and most big college programs are not in very big towns. And when you have a lot of people who have a lot of cachet, and they're in a small town. Bad gas travels fast, and bad gas traveled fast. And so you see this, but you see stuff like this so often, you don't really know what to believe. And so you're like, oh, well, you can't go running with that because it's Dennis 6969 on a message board, which ended up being a. Did you see the person who was breaking the news?
I did. Yeah,
I can't even say that name on the air.
I know.
Like that was the person breaking the news. It was things that get thrown on football fields and basketball courts in 2025. Lover. That was the handle.
And they were all over it.
And they were all over this whole thing. I'm going, what a website this is.
Bringing new meaning to the word insider.
So I thought it was ridiculous, obviously. And you guys, yuck it up, you two. Okay, here we go.
I don't have anything to do with this.
So, and there were plenty of thoughts before that I had. I mean, separate of this, like I'm glad the cops got involved. I would have thought it'd be ridiculous because, frankly, we're both grown men here, and I don't condone the stuff he's accused of and run around on your wife or anything like that. Not by any means necessary. But I do know that there's plenty of guys out there who've made mistakes. And, all right, I understand that being a good husband is part of being a good father, but men make mistakes, and you can still be a good father. And to take yourself away from your children in a moment of crisis, it's probably best if we get people involved here, save ourselves from ourselves, and hopefully let things work themselves out as best they can. Because, had this other stuff not had happened with the police getting involved and him being arrested, I know it's embarrassing, and I know it's one of the all-time money fumbles ever, $13 million, but was it a consensual relationship that was tawdry and an affair?
Yeah, well,
Bobby Petrino ended up coaching again. I don't know what's going to happen with the guy, but you could see in 10 years, he's the head coach at Arkansas State.
When I was at the Houston Rockets Cavs game, sitting right behind the bench of Houston, I'm like, oh yeah, there's Udoka. Why isn't he coaching again at the Boston Celtics? Oh yeah, that's right. So I don't know. Well, obviously, we don't know all the details to this story. Here's one thing I will not do. Obviously, I'm an Ohio State fan, and there were a lot of texts flying around last night. I think all fans of all these big-time college programs should know better than to...
Oh, the getting on the high horse?
Yes. Because I know the next one could be us. It's just, that's how it works. It's like your turn. Oh, it's their turn, because these programs are so massive. There's so much money behind them that just like any business, any Fortune 500 company, really anywhere, whether it's a position in government, I know that people that have access tend to do really, really stupid things and bad things.
That was really stupid.
And so the one thing I will not do as an Ohio State fan is laugh at Michigan, because I know the arrow will be pointed right at Ohio State and at Woody Hayes Athletic Center at some point.
Athletics.
That is how this stuff works.
Big time athletics, and particularly football coaches. I mean, I hate to say it, we're football guys. But there's a lot of football guys who are not great leaders. They're just football guys.
Well, they're also away from their families, oftentimes 20 hours a day. They're on the recruiting trail. They're on their trips. They're using the private jet. They're not bringing their family to all this stuff. They're being celebrated wherever they go. The big dinners. You don't think they have some drinks and they're put in these. They put themselves in these positions to where none of this surprises me. And if you think about it, I always laugh when anybody gets all high and mighty about this stuff or indignant about this. Like, this would never happen. Let's go back in time. Penn State. This would never happen at my program. And then, oh yeah, no, it happened at that program. It happened at that program. It happened there. It happened there. It happened
nobody's.
So it's so silly. It's so silly to ever get all high and mighty on this stuff.
Yeah.
That you could type in any program and put scandal in the Google search.
There's going to be something there.
And
more
it's like,
likely.
oh, you guys did that, didn't you?
Yeah.
And just play that out. Play that exercise out with so much more than that. There's scandals everywhere. So I will never do that. That seemed to be a lot of people that might have known about this, and that's why
they're saying
this
over.
could get very ugly for a lot of people.
Yeah, I want to know who moved things around, who moved different things to kind of look the other way on certain things. Because, again, why did he go to the assistant's house? We'll find out, I'm sure, over time. How they piece together their family, again, that's up to them. I'm not really going to get involved in any of that or speak to any of that, at least not right now. I think you're right. I mean, you looked at the one document there that, and again, you don't know if anything on the internet's real, but a 55% pay increase to 1 year. It's like, maybe somebody in the accounting department is going to go, what's that about? Did other people get a 55% increase in pay?
That's a Ken
over 1
Carman
year?
raise. That's not your pedestrian
Let's
raise.
not talk about my money. Let's not talk about your money here. Their money's public because it's a public institution. You see how that works? Who's going to replace him? That's what people really want to know.
Sure, because
Who replaces him?
Didn't it seem like I thought people were being a little premature? And again, I didn't know this would happen.
What?
But I thought people were being a little premature after the Matt Campbell, addition at Penn State. People are like, all right, well, all the dominoes have fallen. And I'm like, no, they're not. First of all, a big-time college coach could get plucked by the NFL. And then, sure enough, the Marcus Freeman rumors were bandying about. And I'm like, do you guys realize that you remember when the Nick Saban stuff went down a few years ago, how that started a carousel? Like, this is going to start a carousel because this is a big-time job that people grew up wanting to be the Michigan head coach, and now it's available. And it looks like they're probably going to want to break from the Harbaugh. That whole coaching tree. Nothing against Harbaugh, but it's like now they've just had scandal. So they're probably going to have.
You're right.
They might have a new athletic director too. So it wouldn't shock me. In fact, I think almost it would be shocking if they stayed in the coaching tree.
Well, like the Jesse Minter thing about bringing him back. His show cause ends at the end of the month. I think that university is going to go, you know what? We're going to need to air out from the Jim Harbaugh era for a while here. And Jesse Minter might end up being a head coach in the NFL by the time it's all said and done. I don't think that he's probably a serious candidate. If they do go to him, I'd be shocked. Kalen DeBoer is being brought up so often. If I were him after this playoff, I'd be out of there and the first thing smoking.
So why
up
is
to
that?
Michigan.
Why do you say that?
Because I think you want to be the guy that replaces the guy that replaced the guy. You never want to be the guy that replaces the guy. And I think Kalen DeBoer and like anybody who replaced Saban it just wasn't going to go well. And it's gone decent, but it hasn't gone well because, the guy's a walking legend down there. And in whatever you do, unless you just win national championship after national championship unless you're Tom Amansky, the 3-time AAU national champion, anything less than the pinnacle of success is going to be not just ridiculed, but also, well, we had one of the all-time legends, and you just don't stack up. You go from literally outside his windows, trying to touch him, to touch greatness down there. They're crazy. It's college football fans. It's the SEC. Trying to touch greatness to Kalen DeBoer, who's seen as an interloper in so many ways. Yeah, if I were him, bye. I already won in the Big Ten. If they go and they lose on next week, bye. If I lose to Oklahoma later, I'm gone. And I'll do myself a favor. I'll do my family a favor. I'll make a bunch of money. I'll be at a big-time program that has a bunch of money. And Alabama will be happy to see me go. No harm, no foul, man.
Which job do you think is
gone?
Which job do you think is the better job?
I would
It's Bama, isn't it?
Yeah. Do they have the money Michigan has? We're in the NIL era, but
I do
before
wonder.
Their facilities were that credit, and they put all the NFLers up on the wall. That was back before you could, quote unquote, pay players. They put all the NFLers up on the wall, and you'd say, we get you to the NFL. You're going to work your ass off unlike you've ever worked in your life. I'm going to get the very best out of you, and it's going to be a very, very tough 3 years, but you're going to go to the NFL. You're going to go first round in the NFL. And guys bought into that. Now, you look at Michigan. Michigan has money. Michigan has an NFL owner.
They do.
There's a ton of money there. I think that you can make, and Michigan's won a national championship as well. You can make a comparison. You can absolutely make a comparison. Maybe you would say Alabama. I could definitely give you an argument for Michigan. I think they're comparable jobs, and it's like, hey, I'm taking over for a legend that I can't do anything. They're ripping him for what he's wearing on the sidelines, because he doesn't wear the khakis and the belt and the tucked-in polo shirt the way that Nick Saban wore. They're ripping him for that. I can go up to Michigan. I'm replacing a mess, and I'll probably be able to keep most of my players. I'll probably still be able to go. We'll keep this thing cooking. I'll be better than Sharon Moore ever was. I'll have a staff that was better than his. I'll get us to 11-1 next year. I could beat Ohio State, could not beat Ohio State, but I'll still be in the playoff.
Do you think if Matt Campbell doesn't take that Penn State job?
Don't want to talk about it.
I mean, do you think he would have been...
Don't want to talk about it.
Do you think they would have focused in on him?
Don't want to talk about it. It's good coffee. Sometimes, folks, the road less traveled, you're very happy it's less traveled.
I mean, I would pull out of Penn State.
You're an idiot. Shut up.
If Michigan came a-calling?
He ain't listening right now, and that isn't. They're packing boxes and everything. That ain't an excuse for you to go say stupid things.
Are the boxes all the way to Happy Valley?
He's not.
Yeah.
No.
They had State College.
Turn left.
No, that's
Turn
not
left
how that
and
goes.
you're right up there.
No, it depends on which way. You can't just take 90 the whole way.
The Indiana Jones map.
I mean,
It's moving. Dun, 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 dun.
Shut up.
I mean, you're in Fort
You are lucky
Wayne,
they're
and
not
then you
listening.
just go north a little bit.
Kenny, our drive would be like, from the west side, I mean, it's like,
4 hours.
for me, it's like an hour 45,
4
2
hours.
hours.
Oh
It's-
yeah, I've made it up there in like 140.
4 hours. 4 hours to Penn State.
It's a windy road, though. That's the thing.
And you listen to the stupidity that's coming out of your mouth. Shut up. Shut
But
your mouth.
I couldn't wear Michigan gear. There's just no way.
And that's the reason why you should be happy.
Penn
'Cause
State, I feel...
you could probably wear some Penn State
I feel like
stuff.
I could wear a little bit.
You just don't wear it on Ohio State week. I understand that from you. I'll wear it during Ohio
Michigan,
State week
I could
because I
never
don't
wear.
care. But you don't just don't
But
wear
you
it
wear
during Ohio State
Michigan
week.
gear. Has he already worn Michigan gear?
I've never worn anything Michigan.
I didn't see any pictures of you in Youngstown watching Ohio State, Michigan last week. What were you wearing?
It was 2 weeks ago.
What were you wearing?
No, was it last week? Weeks are running together. It was 2 weeks ago. The Big Ten Championship game
Closer
was
to
last
2
week.
weeks.
I was wearing an Iowa State hoodie, as I want to do. They were playing Oklahoma State. I was following along on my phone, which they won that game 20-13. There you go. He's staying at Penn State. Stop it.
How does this impact the St. Ignatius odds?
I don't know. Shut up.
I hope we don't see new odds today.
Well, Elvis Gerbach was on one list.
I think your odds actually made the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette.
It did make the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, as that was bandied about. Dude, I was...
St. Ignatius odds made the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette.
That's one of those that... how could you not laugh out
I
loud?
should frame it and give it to you for Christmas. That was incredible. I got that forwarded to me. I go, you got to be kidding me, man. Yeah, Tom Arth. Steelers quarterback coach Tom Arth in the running for a high school job in Ohio.
There wasn't exactly a lot of vetting on that story.
They even wrote, these are not concrete sources here in the story. I go, then why did you write it? Why did you write it?
Yeah, it's content. Throw it up.
I guess so.
Throw it up.
All right. I got other names to bring up, but we'll do that later on during about last night and everything like that. A talk at the gas station made me think about why Kevin is still here. You ain't going to like it, but I think you're going to know it's true. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, take us with you to work on the free Odyssey app.
best mayo has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
When you want the latest on the Cavs, we're the station you turn to first. 92.3 The Fan is Cleveland's home for breaking sports news. Your teams, your station.
Coming up at 8:20 this morning, Mary Kay Cabot going to join us on the show, and Daryl's going to join us at 9. It's thrown off a little bit. We got Jason Lloyd, Lace enjoyed. He's in with us tomorrow. He had some spicy commentary. I want to get to you guys at 7 o'clock today. Nick Wilson was upset about it. I want to play it before I comment on either one of them because I'm like, I don't think they got it necessarily right in the commentary yesterday about whether or not people wouldn't want this job or would want this job here in Cleveland if Kevin Stefanski were to go. About last night at 7:45, got some other names for the Michigan job and all the other. And there's one name that I hope it gets brought up about last night because there's one name. It's like, hey, you gotta make the call just to say you made the call just in case. But no, it's to me it's kind of lazy to have that opinion. And if you have that opinion, I'm gonna know you put zero thought into it. And that's probably coming up at about last night at 7:45. 216-474-0092. I had an interesting talk at the gas station this morning. I had to stop off. Now I don't need gas, but I stopped off because, long story short, the ice got on the windshield wipers, and I got halfway down the highway and went, damn it, I got to get off. So I went over to the gas station, and there's a guy who works at the gas station. His name is Sean. Sean is a listener. Sean has been a listener since the night show, and I've known Sean here for the last couple of years. He's a really nice guy, big Browns fan. And I walk in there because I'm like, well, I'm in here. I might as well get coffee. I didn't get any donuts or any pastry, so don't even start. I was like, I might as well get some coffee. And he goes, Ken, why is Stefanski still here? And I looked at my phone and I went, it is 4:27 in the morning, and that guy ain't even awake, and people are asking him why he still has a job. I go, damn. And I thought about it. I go, well, it's not the end of the year. He goes, that ain't good enough. And I went, you know what? You're right. And I said, I think I got a reason. Did Shedeur play well on Sunday? You guys aren't going to like this reason. Did Shedeur play well on Sunday, yes or no? Yes, he did. Ian, you've said many times, Kenny, you're focused on winning, and I've given my reasons why I'm focused on winning, and it's not just ego or pride or anything like that. I do think there's a legitimate reason for the people who want Shedeur to be quarterback next year. I think there's a legitimate reason, too. However, you've said it's more about evaluation than winning. Kevin, last year, he evaluated in the month of December. Were they trying to win? You think that they were trying to win? He wasn't going out of his way to lose. Were they trying to win? I don't think a lot of people thought they were. If Shedeur's playing well, would it stand to reason that Kevin might get a little bit of credit? Now, hold on here. I'm not trying to turn it around. I know you guys think that I'm just best buds with Kevin and I want to fire him and carry him out of this place. Hold on. If he's doing well with Shedeur, and I know we're mad over 2-point conversions and special teams and lack of accountability, all that's true. 100% true. But would you really want to rock the boat with 4 games left? You're trying to evaluate your quarterback to see whether or not he's a guy for 2026, or you're going to go in a drastically different direction. Don't you think you want to, if things look like they're getting better and they're working with him, I don't want to pull the rug out from underneath him. I know nobody wants Kevin here, it seems, and there's 90+% of you that seem you want him out. I think that I'm starting to believe that he doesn't even want to be here. But if I got 4 games left, and my quarterback's looking good, my rookie, the guy who has a high ceiling, the guy that a lot of people love, and the people who don't love him, if he keeps playing well, you'll learn to love him. Why would I want to pull the rug out from him now? If I did it in January, I got a whole offseason. I got a whole offseason to get a new coach in here, see where it goes. You know, how do you plan on working with Shedeur? I got a lot of time to work ahead for a season. Here, I'm week by week. I'm going to let the guy go, and then over the next 3 games, like if they lose on Sunday to Chicago, and they very well could and probably will in so many ways, if they lose to Chicago, but he still plays well, I'm going to fire the head coach? What am I going to do? I'm going to put Tommy Rees in there? Okay, I can make Tommy Rees the head coach, and we can have that discussion now. But I don't want anything to really upset this while I'm seeing what he can do. It's already hard enough. He's already been uncomfortable enough with everything that went on in training camp. Even if it's not the best of environments for winning, I'd like to provide him with a stable environment through the rest of the year.
Well, especially as you're seeing improvement, right?
Yes.
So
if you were out there throwing the ball backwards or something like that, like maybe it's like, okay, who cares? But I'm seeing improvement.
And not to mention, none of us are there every day, and even the beat reporters are so limited what they're able to either film or look at. But you know who is there every day? Jimmy Haslam. Jimmy Haslam's there a lot.
He is there.
A lot of people think they don't realize
he is not
that
an absentee.
He lives here. He goes to practice. He's in that building.
He's there.
And I get it. When they're losing games, people think that's part of the problem. But he's observing all of this, right? And he's seen the communication and the relationship between Kevin Stefanski and Shedeur Sanders. And is there a chance? Because, again, I don't know. And there really hasn't been that much reporting on this anyway, even from the insiders. But is there any kind of a relationship being established between those two? I know what people outside of the building were saying, which is, Stefanski's sabotaging him. He's doing everything he can. He was saddled with him. He was buried on the depth chart and was doing everything he could not to allow Shedeur Sanders to rise. All right, well, none of that matters now. He's there. They're working together. He's coaching him, and Tommy's coaching him. So is there any chance, and I do have to ask this question even to the people that hate Stefanski the most and said the most vile things about him, is there a chance he's actually been beneficial now since he's gotten the first team reps? Or do you guys still think he's actively doing things to harm Shedeur Sanders?
Depends on who you want to pay attention to.
Because I'm not seeing it on the field. I'm not seeing any evidence of that.
It just depends. I think people have chosen, and maybe I'm wrong, I'm asking people to be open-minded. 216-474-0092. Can you give him any credit whatsoever for Shedeur playing well on Sunday against Tennessee? If he continues to play well, can you give him any credit whatsoever? I think that a lot of people either A, they believe what they believe and they've believed it since before the season started, or B, they feel if they give him any sort of credit whatsoever that this is all going to be run back in 2026. I think fans are afraid of that. I mean, you had Stephen A. Smith yelling that we need to be holding his feet to the fire every single day of every single show. And I respect Stephen A. Smith, but I also know that I'm not going to sit here and lie to people if I don't believe it's true. Like, we could get to the end of the year, and I'm looking at this, because I'm looking at it right now going, this ain't good for anybody. This ain't good for the fans. I think I think it's only been good for one person, maybe, and that's Shedeur. Everybody else, I don't think it's good for. I don't think it's good for the assistants. I don't think it's good for the culture inside the office. I don't know how bad it is for the locker room. I don't think it's good for the culture inside the office. I don't think it's good for Andrew Berry. I don't think it's good for Kevin. I don't think it's good for Kevin and his future. I don't think it's good for the ownership. I don't think it's good for the fans. I don't think it's good for anybody. Right now, this is not good. And I got all these different people over the last 2 weeks. Well, the Giants might be interested. I'm going, who's putting this out? Maybe Kevin doesn't want to be here. Maybe Kevin doesn't want to be here. And there's guys driving on 77 right now going, yeah, Kev, make my day. Okay, fine. But let's get to January before that, because I still got 4 more games. My quarterback has made strides every single week. I'm excited to see what's next. If he ends up being good, fine. And I guess we'll have to have that conversation on whether to hold on to Kevin or let Kevin go.
Why would Kevin want to be anywhere else if Shedeur is showing real signs of growth and coachability?
He may think Cam Ward's better. He may think Jackson Dart's better. That's on him. If there's a separation here, then we have to make a separation, and I'm fine with that. I'll live with it. It's been 6 years, and it seems that he may not really even want to be here anymore by all these different sources that are coming out and saying these things. So if that's the way it is, then I want to see it here, and I want to see it over the next 3 games after this week coming up against Chicago. Because he can't just go out there and do it all by himself. He's gotten better. And you can give credit to Tommy Rees as well. You can give credit to the rest of the offensive staff. There's a lot of things that you can do to say, yeah, like this, he's clearly been helped. Clearly. There's a lot of things that I think that he's naturally good at, and I think they're coming to the surface now. Him being able to pick up the offense, him being able to pick up the footwork, the things that he did, the platform being so much better. We talked about this throughout the week. And I'm thinking, yeah, I can give Kevin Stefanski credit and still say this ain't working, and there probably should be a separation between you two at the end of the year. But I think that a lot of fans feel if they say anything in terms of credit for him, then that's going to leave the door open for 2026. And I think the vast majority of fans want change. 216-474-0092. Can you give him any credit whatsoever? Or do you think he doesn't deserve any? You can always try to. I'm open-minded to that. I'm just asking people to be open-minded on this. If you don't think he deserves any credit, tell me why. Tell Tone why. 216-474-0092. Mary Kay Cabot at 8:20. And coming up in a bit, I just don't think Nick or Jason, I don't think they hit the right note on this argument yesterday on The Fan. I'll do it at 7:02 on The Fan. Friends, Ken Carman here for the one.
through their instant cash offer. Gives you more flexibility than ever before. That's why I trust the Young Team. You should too. Google the Young Team and start packing.
The college football playoff is set, and the Buckeyes are in the path to repeat as national champions. Whenever you need to talk college football, we've got you covered. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Nine o'clock, the dangerous one's going to join us on the show. He's been spicy. A lot of people getting in about it. I have a quarterback coach who did just text me during the last segment. And he's like, totally agree with everything. You're absolutely right.
Which is?
The Stefanski and not firing because of the Shedeur Sanders evaluation. It's like, you want to make a move at the end of the year? I'm saying, if you want to make a move at the end of the year, fine. And there's a lot of things. Guys, I get upset too. I mean, I'm down in my office. I'm crushing Busch Light. I'm seeing this emotionally. I'm getting upset. It's an upsetting time. I got my son sitting next to me here. I kind of look like Ken Dorsey sitting in the booth. He's sitting next to me. He's just staring at me as I'm throwing things because I'm mad. He's taking notes. I'm taking notes. You know, typically what fathers and sons would do.
What's he drinking?
He is not drinking Busch Light. He is fixing the drinks. And as things go worse, he actually, I told you, the hammer comes out because then he starts to fix the drinks. Because that's Axel's nickname in the family is the hammer.
He's the hammer.
Because
a disciple of the old hammer.
He is not going to. My son is not going to short pour you. He's either going to be a football coach or a legendary bartender in this city. One of the two. He ain't going to short pour nothing, boy. It's going to happen. You are going to leave with a buzz. Anywho, I'm losing my mind too. It's very frustrating. The 2-point conversion crap. The special teams gaffes, the lack of accountability, the pre-snap penalties, the things that you've talked about, you are 100% right. The guys calling in, the women calling in, you all are 100% right. It's been a terrible season. I don't think he's very much, and personally, in my own opinion, I don't think he's very much interested in being here after this year. It's been 2 weeks of leaks here, guys. He's either getting ready to be fired or he might just want to go. And we'll get that figured out at the end of the year. But I'm seeing a quarterback. He's supposed to be an offensive guy. He's worked well with quarterbacks. That was part of the argument we've made here and there over the past 5 years now before this year where things have been rocky up and down and whether or not it was his fault or Deshaun's or Baker's or his or whatever. He's supposed to work well with quarterbacks. And I'm seeing QB that was the rest of the NFL try to tell you that guy wasn't that good. And I'm seeing a quarterback inspire confidence in even some haters. Like, you have a show on this station. One of these guys on this show, not this show, one of the guys on that show was staunchly against Shedeur Sanders. Now he's a big fan. He's as big a fan of Jonathan Peterlin, it seems. What's that do? But the same, we're talking about he needs to be fired right now. Whoa. I don't want to mess with that right now. I don't want to mess with it.
Well, now it kind of seems like
I'll wait till the end of the year.
So this is.
I know that saying that I'll probably come in here Monday real pissed and hungover. I know I'll probably come in Monday feeling that way, but hold me accountable to what I'm saying right now because I'm seeing a quarterback grow day by day by day, week by week, and it's a lot of fun to watch.
And regardless of like if you're doing the credit, we always do the blame pie. If you're doing the credit pie, if you think it's Shedeur 99%, Stefanski 1%. Either way, like he's not actively undermining him now, right? If you thought he was actively undermining him all season, and we've gotten in debates about that to death, and that's been a national storyline. But clearly, some of if you go back and look at the preseason stuff, and some people have done that, they've gone back and look at some of the tape for the preseason where it was the mistakes were straight out of college. They were the exact same mistakes, and why wouldn't it be? How much development really is there in the offseason?
Didn't get a lot of time.
Right? And now you're getting NFL coaching. Well, now already compare his tape from last week to his tape in, against the Rams in the preseason. And by the way, the offensive lines weren't that different because his offensive line was terrible back then. His offensive line was terrible last week. And you're seeing really encouraging signs. So, I give the guy who's the quarterback and throwing the passes and having that the command and presence in the huddle and the pocket, I give him the most credit. But I got to give the coach some credit. I don't have to be stubborn as much as I'm down on Stefanski right now. I don't have to be that stubborn.
Let's see what Odyssey NFL insider and broadcaster and former NFLer Ross Tucker has to say about such matters.
In the same light that he's going to get all of the blame for all the bad things, let's give him all the credit for the positive things. But I think he certainly deserves a decent amount of the credit for Shador's improvement, which, by the way, I feel like you guys have a fascinating situation going, because on the one hand, it's like the Browns should not have lost to the Jets or the Titans. And if they let go of Kevin, those would be major reasons why. On the other hand, they lose to a really bad team at home on Sunday, but you have your quarterback play his best game. And so if Shador continues to play really well this last month, I don't know, do you want to move on from the coaching staff that's getting him to play really well?
If he's playing really well, I think we can reevaluate this, and I can reevaluate this in January. So I know that a lot of people, and again, I know what I said on Monday, and I was real mad on Monday. I was real mad the Monday before. And on Sunday nights, I start looking at my mentions, and again, I've had a couple, and I see already, you guys are gassing me up and sending me emails and getting me going because you want me to start ripping them like crazy, and you want me to go nuts on them because you guys don't got microphones in front of you, and I take that responsibility seriously. You wouldn't believe I do, but I do. And I also want to do not just what's right for the fans and what the fans tell me they want to hear, but I also want to do what's right for this team to have a good product so the fans actually have something to enjoy. And this is not enjoyable, the ending result. The quarterback play is enjoyable. Quarterback play was fun on Sunday. The end result was terrible. And if we get to the 4 games, none of what I'm saying right now has any indication of what I mean in January when it comes to this entire body of work for this team. Because there's plenty of guys who are good quarterback coaches who are not great head coaches. There's plenty of guys who have helped out that maybe we're just at the end of the run and that's it. And again, I keep trying to stress, I don't believe he even wants to be here for a very long time. We'll have Jason in tomorrow, and I call him the Culligan man, so I'm going to have to go right at him about that and see whether or not I'm wrong. Maybe I am. Hope I am in so many ways. But I don't want to make a move when my quarterback's working. My quarterback's working. Can we do 4 more weeks? If the quarterback's looking good, can I get 4 more weeks? If they go and they win 4 more games, then we're going to have a different discussion. But I can't wait 4 more games? 3 weeks and a couple of days? I can't wait that long? If we're going to make a move here, Tone, I think we can.
Yeah, and I get it. If you're a Shador person who's been peddling a lot of the stuff that's been out there, that they've been sabotaging him and setting it up to fail and all that stuff, then you're not going to want to live in a world like this at all. Like you want Stefanski gone. Forget about the actual football reasons and the 4th down and taking Shador off the field. But everything else, like I get it. You're rolling your eyes, you're driving around today, or you're listening in Texas or across the country to us, and you're watching us on YouTube, and you are going nuts. You are giving this guy credit now for Shador.
This is not a fun thing to say,
but
guys.
No players, when their career is over, none of them say I did it on my own. Like, none of them do. They give credit to people along the way. Well, who is Shador going to give credit to along the way? Is there a chance, and I know it's tough to say this without smiling, is there a chance when Shador is putting on the gold jacket in Canton 20 years from now that he says, Kevin Stefanski, everything he did and the coaching that I got when it was so instrumental my rookie year, because I couldn't maybe see it then, when I thought I could play along with all these quarterbacks in the NFL, and I made that statement and I was mocked. I didn't see it then, but now as I'm older, all these years later, and we're having a Hall of Fame party in Canton, Ohio, and we have these Super Bowl rings here in Cleveland to talk about and to look back on. Yeah, Kevin Stefanski deserves some credit.
Can you give Kevin any credit at all, or do you just think he deserves absolutely zero credit for Shador Sanders playing well? 216-474-0092. I'm going to get to you guys on that, I promise, coming up here in about 5 minutes. And if he scares them off, then I don't want any part of it. And I'm going to have to say something here, maybe at 7 o'clock, that could tear the show apart. I don't think you're going to like me very much. I think the show dynamic could change here at 7:01 on The Fan.
Anthony Lima for Van.
21 on the ice. Lima Monsters lose in Charlotte 4-0. Don't miss the Kevin Stefanski Show, followed by Thursday Night Football. All begins tonight at 7 o'clock right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
All the Browns and NFL news you may have missed at work. The Afternoon Drive. Weekdays starting at 2. 92.3 The Fan.
I'm going to want Owen to read some of these comments coming up here momentarily about whether or not Kevin can get any credit at all. Any credit. And if you don't think he deserves any, fine. 216-474-0092. Does he get any credit at all for Shedeur playing well? And I'm going to get to Owen here in a second. I want to say something here, and I'm sandwiching this because I don't want it to tear the show apart, and I think it could tear the show apart. Yesterday, Lima and I were on the phone while I was driving. What is the favorite dinner that your wife makes?
I think right now, if I were to do a legitimate power ranking of that, I told you yesterday on the air, it might have been what I had yesterday, which was the tortellini soup, which includes spicy Italian sausage and spinach. It was so good.
I had a thought.
Throw some Parmesan cheese over there.
Sure. Do you say Parmesan or Parmesan?
I think...
I've always said Parmesan.
Parmesan.
But I heard some people say Parmesan. Okay. I had a thought yesterday. I feel if I went to your house for dinner, I'd leave hungry. And I don't know how that's going to be taken.
Now, you know my wife, the marathon runner, she consumes, I think, more calories than me during a day.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, but she's still small.
And I think stuff.
I think if she's getting ready for a marathon, then maybe she would. But if she's not getting ready for a marathon, like I've been with you, being out with you is one of the most fun but also frustrating things ever. If you take the time to make sure that everybody gets to eat, then it becomes a really, really fun time. But Lima doesn't pay attention to eating when he's out.
That's true.
So when you don't pay attention to eating when you're out, and you're out there holding court and drinking drinks and doing God knows what, and I'm just like, are we gonna have a burger here anytime? Or
I do end up having. I've missed some meals.
If it's after
on the road.
show, I haven't eaten since 5 a.m. It's 3 in the afternoon now, Tone. I'm getting my peckish over here, and he just keeps on moving. And when you do eat, I've seen you eat one full steak to completion one time at a steakhouse that's not even here anymore. I've seen you do it one time, and I was shocked. I acted like it was a big boy, and he ate his full dinner now. Owen, he eats like a bird. I assume Sarah eats like a bird.
Birds don't eat steak.
I feel if we went to... But he ate a steak, so he eats somewhat like a bird. I feel if we went to Lima's house for dinner, I think we'd be stopping at Taco Bell on the way home. Is that a terrible thing to admit? Is that mean-spirited? Have I taken a shot at him?
That is
I didn't say the food was bad.
That is taking a shot.
Is it? Or is it just the truth?
And I agree with you.
Thank you. I just don't feel it would be I'm not saying it wouldn't taste good. I'm sure it would taste good. This is not an indictment on your wife's cooking.
Sure, she does cook on the healthier side. There's no doubt.
But I'm sure it tastes fine. I'm sure it tastes good. Good. There's healthy things that taste good.
Like
I know
there's greens. There's greens in everything we eat.
And I enjoy greens.
Yeah.
I enjoy a salad. I enjoy a lot of ranch dressing in it, but I enjoy a salad.
Well, my problem is we have to do that same right now because everyone in my house is, on a cut
Cutting?
right now.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So that same thing happens. So if I'm walking out the door and eating in someone else's house, I don't want that stuff.
Owen has to do the
That
guy
makes
we know
sense.
who had to leave the house and drive down the street and eat 2 Whoppers and come home. Owen's got to do that.
Well, you can get 3 Whopper Juniors on the Trio meal.
Oh, my God. That just sounds amazing.
You have to order it on mobile?
Of course.
I don't mean it to be mean-spirited.
No, I don't think it's mean-spirited at all.
But if we're doing a dinner, I think you're coming to my house. We ain't coming to yours.
Well, it is fascinating dynamic. When I was young, because of my situation, I was eating over a lot of different families' houses.
Oh, yeah.
And it was kind of fascinating to see not only the behavior of families, like you guys sit down at a dinner table and you don't have a TV on. It's very different. You guys say a prayer before your meal? Things were a little different at other houses that I went to. And then there were some houses that were a little more bohemian. And then there were some houses that it was steak and potatoes. Little very, very liberal kind of vibe going on with, and the communication with the family. I'm like, you guys talk to your family and you do these things because, it was rooted in some dysfunction. But it was nice to kind of sample that when I was younger, and now to kind of see what I have married into, because I have no say over any of this. There is no, like, I could have married somebody else and it would have been totally different.
Yeah, of course.
So it's completely dependent on, who I married and what she wants. We don't ever eat anything she doesn't want to eat.
Well, no.
There's no Chinese food anymore. That's just gone. I have to kind of pursue that on my own.
That would hurt Ken, because Ken has 2 Chinese meals.
Or sometimes 3.
You guys got to understand is that Keith doesn't believe it. I don't know what there is not to believe. I like to get a Chinese dinner for tonight, a succulent Chinese meal for tonight, and then a succulent Chinese lunch for tomorrow. So I will get like mi fun. I think it's called mi fun. I think it's, or chop suey. I will get that for tonight.
Mark Norman has a whole great bit about the names of Chinese restaurants, how they're way more offensive than some of the other things that are considered slurs.
And then the next day, we're going to keep moving on. And the next day, I take like the General So's. And I bring that out of the... I can power rank dishes if you want. I'll do it.
Oh, no, slurs.
Oh, no, we're not going to do that.
We'll do that on the podcast.
I'll take that out of the fridge, and I'll have the General So's in the morning, or in the afternoon, I should say. And it's just as good. It's just as good. I don't know why Keith has to sit there and make jokes about it, other than I'm an easy target because I'm fat, and he knows I don't care about fat jokes, so I don't know what that does.
But it is impressive to me that, Ken, I would never tab you as somebody who would have leftovers. Just because
I'm not a big fan of leftovers, but these are actually I haven't tasted them before, so it's kind of new, and so I can heat them up and everything's fine. Yeah, I'm not a big leftover person. There's certain foods and certain things I just no. Like my dad would make a roast back in the day, and then you pull it out, get that roast out of there, and the gravy's
slime,
gelatinous and slimy. I'm like, ugh. My dad would be like, "What's the matter, boy? It's good eating." I'm like, "No,
it was good yesterday. It's good today."
Oh, they try to do it's even better today than it was yesterday. No, it's not.
It marinated in all the juices overnight.
Oh, it tastes...
That's cellophane.
It's got that old in it, and now it's starting to taste a little bit like cotton swabs.
Ugh.
Sorry, Pop. It's the truth of the matter. And now I won't eat them no more. Thank you very much. But no, if I'm going to go eat a family dinner, if I'm power ranking what families I'm going to eat at, I'm going to eat at Owen's. I'm going to eat at Mitch's, because I think Gary's a delightful man.
I bet Big Gary's got a pellet grill ready to go at all moment.
That makes sense.
Hell yeah. And then I'll eat at yours, but I'll make sure that...
Over at Weight Watchers?
Yeah. Over at the Fat Farm over there. The Kellogg Clinic. Coming up at 8:20, Mary Kay Cabot going to join us on the show. Read some of these...
Yeah, Owen.
You've been on the Weight Watchers. You've seen it.
No, but I have a mother.
And you found some comments.
Well, we were talking about before we got on the food stuff. We're talking about how much credit does Kevin get for Shador's. Every week seems to be a little bit better as he's played on here. Last week he was great, right? So we'll do social media reactions powered by Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store. Miss Bell on YouTube says it's the reps, not the coaching. Bam says, he's still training with his own quarterback coach every Tuesday and Wednesday. I don't know where that specifically comes from. And then Georgia for Shador says, Kevin deserves 0 to 5% of the credit. The other 95 to 100% belongs to Shador.
So he's just winging it? If you're watching the same, there's no way you either don't know football or you're lying to yourself if you're seeing what Shador did on Sunday and you think that's the same thing you did in college.
They are all.
Well,
there's so many comments about the reps.
You got to remember, though, his fans didn't think.
So,
Kenny, hold on. I got to stop you your checks. His fans do not, his supporters that I have dealt with that have called the show that, have very strong opinions on him, which we love. We love these passionate opinions and how loyal they are to Shador. They have never admitted he had any problems in college. He should have been the number 1 overall pick. There were no problems. There were no issues. Patting the ball and buying time was good for receivers. Going backwards in the pocket to avoid was just him being able to make plays. He had no problems. No mechanical issues, nothing.
Then why would he change?
He's the most accurate quarterback in college football history, remember.
Why has he clearly changed?
Why do you think it looks different?
Yes. If he knows better, and that's it, why ain't he still doing the same things exactly the way he was doing in college? Guys, I watched him in college. I watched him at Jackson State, too. He ain't getting it past me. Maybe, I'm not going to blame you. You do games, so maybe you're doing other games on Saturday. Ain't get past me. So why would he then, if everything was fine, then why did he clearly make changes? Why did he clear? I want to know. I want an answer.
I mean, I see him as somebody that
they're
seems,
not all rhetorical questions.
I see somebody, and I think this is a total positive sign that he seems very coachable. And that doesn't mean Kevin's the only person who can coach him now.
Exactly.
He might have another coach next year.
No, you could always find somebody better at the end of the season.
Yeah.
That's why it's not like, well, Kevin should be a lifetime contract. No, I didn't say that. I'm pointing out that I'm not going to upset the apple cart here where my team is not good and we're not going to the playoffs again, but my quarterback's playing well.
Can you say his father always being his coach was in some way a setback, that he never had a different, no, a different set of eyes on him to go, hey, maybe try this way?
I don't think so, because I think that there was a lot of things that he was naturally better at than a lot of guys, and if you're naturally better at than a lot of people, there's certain habits that you develop, and then when you're going up against guys who are as good as you, there's things that you have to make adjustments to. Deion was a great coach for him in high school, in college, and then I think Deion even knew it's time to move on. And I think that's what Deion even mentioned that in his post-game press, or in his one press conference after he saw Shedeur play against Las Vegas. But you guys, listen, if you guys just hate Kevin Stefanski, fine. We've hated coaches here before, but if you can't give me even a little bit of sliver of going, hey, he's definitely learned, then what are you arguing against?
Well, I think there is an element of the fan base
Hasn't he learned
for
something?
Shedeur that have been with him through thick and through thin, and have had to hear people say a bunch of negative things about him that want him to be this self-made in that image. They don't.
He's got to put in the work.
They want it to be that he is the most. But the way they talk about him, that he is the most unique prospect that has ever been around, and I have to fight back against. Like we've had very unique stories come before him. We'll have other people come after him. Like I said, this Mendoza story in Indiana has a chance to be even crazier than Shedeur's story.
So hold on. If he's taken in the 5th round, which he's clearly not a 5th round talent, he's way ahead of that. But the NFL let you know what they thought of him, and he continues to go with this success and continues to do well. Yeah, there's a lot there that's hard work and maybe self-made, but there's also a lot of coaching that goes on, because if he were just doing it the way he was doing, then he'd still be doing the things he was doing in college. He's not doing that nearly as much. Like, yeah, I guess there's a couple of spins here and there, and the one decision against Tennessee. Okay, that happens with a lot of rookie guys.
Yeah.
That happens with Caleb. That happens with Caleb Williams. He was the number 1 overall pick.
Josh Allen,
on Sunday.
Josh Allen a few weeks ago threw 2 interceptions that were as bad as you will ever see.
Silly interceptions is not a reason to give up on a guy, a rookie guy, unless you make too many of them. It was just one. That's not a big deal. But you see what he's done, and you see some of the things that he's already changed and already made. If everything was fine, then he wouldn't have done that. If everything was just hunky-dory, he wouldn't have done that. I mean, people can believe what they want, but clearly these people are under some sort of a delusion, and they just don't want to hear what I have to tell them. But for whatever, I don't know what the YouTube chat's looking at. I haven't seen it in weeks. Since last week when I read the one. You're the one who tells me about the YouTube chat. If those folks don't want to believe the truth, then you're only cutting down your own quarterback and the work he's put in.
Only YouTube chat I check in on is Miss Rachel, and there's some spirited conversations developing there.
Mary Kay Cabot at 8:22 this morning. Coming up in 5 minutes. I heard this argument a little bit yesterday, and I think they might be getting wrong about who's scared and who's not. Ken Carman, Tone Master General, take us with you to work on the absolutely free Odyssey app, my friends. Extend Technologies in Broadview Heights.
detained by police for an alleged assault. No word yet if charges will be filed. Don't miss the Kevin Stefanski Show, followed by Thursday Night Football. All begins tonight at 7 right here on 92.3 The Fan. From
Back of the Fan. I was trying to talk to Owen, and I can't talk to Owen because your microphone was on, so that's okay. Back of the Fan coming up at 8:20 this morning. Mary Kay Cab going to join us on the show. You're getting asked to do a bunch of TV and radio.
Oh, this
stuff.
is great. It's amazing because we haven't gotten a chance to do a lot of this really since LeBron. There was some Baker stuff. I'd get asked to go on some shows, Baker, but man, tomorrow I got Chicago TV booked, the number one affiliate in Chicago I'm going on. I've got Chicago Sports Radio at our sister station that I'm doing a video with. Dan Dockich has me coming on again, national Outkick the Coverage.
Congratulations
show.
on all your
So,
success.
Shador has been good to us. There is no doubt. People want
I'm not being asked to do any of this.
Why not you? And I love getting the opportunity to.
I think it's pretty clear why.
Speak for the fan base.
Why is that?
I think they were alerted by a big national presence.
The chubby guy on the right is just scared to death. The other guy's keeping it 100% real, man.
They would like to keep it 100% real.
The reason I was scared to death was because I didn't know what he was referencing.
They never know when you're going to be shaking in your boots.
I mean, I was like, what is he talking about over there? The stuff online, I didn't know what it was, and so I was nervous. Yeah, he was right. But I'm not being asked to do any of this stuff.
I am honored to be the one to represent the Shador fans.
Off he goes.
And so I'm excited to speak for you, be a conduit, because people want to know what Shador fans, how they feel about this whole process, and who better to step up and speak and to truly champion what Shador Sanders is doing and speak for the community. So I'm up to the task. I can tell you right now, I will not let you guys down, Shador fans. This is going to be an awesome opportunity. I cannot wait. My sister's going to be watching in Chicago. And their clips go big on social media. So this is going to be awesome.
What station is this in
opportunity.
Chicago?
Lou Canellis' station. I think he's on the Fox affiliate.
Awesome. Fox 32. They have a very good morning show over there.
Yeah. And he's done sidelines for Bears games before he does pre and post game. So when he's talking to people out and about in the Chicagoland community, he's going to be referencing our point of view, and I'm so happy to be the guy, the intermediary between the national and regional sports fans and the Shador fans. I'm going to step right up. This is gonna be awesome.
Well, I hate it now because he's gone. It's gonna be Nick. It's gonna be Nick Wright and Danny Parkins and Anthony Lima on Mulligan Soup. That's
I got
what
a
it's
text
gonna
from
be.
yesterday from Parkins.
Yep. You texted Parkins?
No,
yesterday?
he texted me.
Wow.
Because again, he understands that there's a gravity to doing this show in this market and being able to have the Shador fans in our corner. So this is a unique opportunity, so I'm excited to embark on it.
Am I doing the wrong thing for my career and trying to call it down the line and be fair to Shador Sanders?
The wrong thing? What do you mean?
Well, I mean, you just get into it with the Shadorians every day.
I think it's just a difference of a polite difference of opinion.
Polite?
Yeah, but we're all on the same page. We all want Shador to do well. We're all rooting for Shador.
Did you want to go back over the call we had yesterday at the end of the show?
I think he was
the
just
shouting match you got into.
But that's fine. I have no problem with people having a difference of opinion. He was wrong on like 10 of his points that he said that I had stood for. He was wrong about you as well. He thought we were like Dylan Gabriel fans.
Oh yeah, that's completely no.
That guy, I won't hold that guy.
That was the one I disagree.
That was Bernard. I won't hold Bernard. Bernard was just listening to other shows and assumed it was us.
There was one thing I think you did say at the end of that call. I don't remember what it was. But like the Dylan Gabriel stuff, no, never, no.
But we can find common ground. We're all let's put it out there. We all thought he was better than Dylan Gabriel. Check. And we all wanted to see him the rest of the year. Check. We're excited. We're giving him the opportunity. I thought it was going to be really hard for Shador to play well enough to change the mind of either me or Browns fans or the Browns front office, most importantly, about whether or not they're going to take a quarterback top of the draft. But, man, he keeps playing like that. I know it was Tennessee, but hello. I mean, Chicago, by the numbers, their defense is not very good. They do turn you over. So Shador's got to have that button down this week. Fortunately, he's getting the coaching, hopefully, this week to prevent that.
That just depends. I think, again, Browns fans and the fans who are jumping in who are fans of Shador, I think that they probably agree that they don't like Kevin Stefanski and they don't want Kevin Stefanski here. The only thing I would say is that you're seeing some of the growth that he's had, and I think that somewhere, somehow, there has to be some credit. I'm sure that I give a lot of credit to the quarterback himself, Shador, because you got to put in the work and do it. But the feet, the eyes, climbing the pocket, not drifting as much, the ball placement on Sunday where he's throwing windows open instead of waiting for the windows to open. I mean, that's the big time stuff that you're wanting to see. And that's where you're going, okay, maybe there is a bit of a future here where we just thought we were going to argue about Shador Sanders until we were going to go out and get Fernando Mendoza or Dante Moore, even Ty Simpson or something like that. Jason Lloyd.
I'm sorry, I wasn't ignoring you. I got a text from Tom.
Please go right on ahead.
Tom D. Benedetto. He's the executive producer of the Jim Rome Show. Would like me to come on and represent the Shador fans. So I love taking advantage of this opportunity just to make sure that
Deben texted you?
Yeah.
Deben hasn't texted me in years.
Yeah, look, if they want me, like during LeBron when I went on CBS Sunday Morning, if they want me to come on,
I think I know what needs to be done here.
The lines of communication are open. I'll be happy to represent. I know there are other guys that probably feel jilted, on other shows in this market.
You know what? I'm going to go to the phones. I want to ask people.
But they want my opinion.
A pointed question before they get going on something else. I wanted to play some audio here. Now I want to ask them. Darian, you there?
Yes.
Darian, stay with me. I want to ask you a question. Do you know me? How long have you listened to the show?
I've been listening to you guys for a couple months now.
Okay. Do you feel I am more pro Shador than Anthony Lima?
Oh, 100%.
Do you feel it is hurting my career that I'm pro Shador since Lima's the one getting all the calls to go on all these other shows and I'm not?
100%.
It's hurting my career?
Yes, because they want to hear. Listen. I know Anthony Lima before I know you because other shows talk about how much he dislikes Shador.
Other shows do talk a lot about me. They also misrepresent. They said it was a Dylan Gabriel guy, so they clearly have not been listening.
Show. That was the was our afternoon show.
Did they just
misrepresent? They just lied.
Cover him because, of course, he's clickbait. So
wait a minute. Somebody in Houston said that. Wait a minute. Somebody in Houston said that. Someone in Houston said that Lima loved Dylan Gabriel.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
Okay, thank God.
It's funny you mentioned Houston because our former colleague Landry Locker does work in Houston. He wants me to come on and represent the Shador fans and everybody.
Darian in Cleveland. Go right on ahead, friend.
Go ahead, Darian.
I'm going to say this first, Lima. If you want to go watch the show, it's FB Teams or something like that.
Okay.
You can go chat with them. But the reason why Stefanski gets no credit is because if you've been watching him since he was and everything, how are you just now making the understanding that he can adjust, he can make evaluations, he can grow as your player? You're just now telling me that this is the first time you've seen him.
That's a heck of a point. That's a hell of a point.
This is the first time you've seen him take coaching and say, "Oh, I can relate that to the field."
Let me ask you this, Darian. That's a hell of a point. That's something we didn't even bring up here during the show. But let me ask you this though: could there be a point where maybe we get to a level of this season where he really regrets the decisions that have been made? That's not an argument to keep him, by the way. I'm just saying, like we all have regrets in life, and maybe he looks back on his time in Cleveland someday and goes, "Yeah, I really shouldn't have put Dylan Gabriel in there before him. Probably should have went with the guy with the higher ceiling." Is that a possibility?
No. He got too much of an ego.
All right.
He has too much of an ego. He would never.
Really? You think he's too egotistical?
Yes. If you're willing to get up here and say, "Oh, this guy has a,"
he broke up. Oh, Darian, sorry, you have a bad connection, but I thought that was a great point there. I don't think he has that big of an ego. I think that he would look back at the end of this and say, "I've made a major mistake."
When I think ego in NFL coaches, I go right to the Sean Paytons of the world. I'm like, that guy has a massive ego, but he wins, so nobody cares that he has an ego.
My buddy Kevin, who's also a huge, is a football coach, not Kevin Stefanski, also a football coach, says, hey, don't forget Bill Musgrave. Huge help at number 12. Stefanski deserves credit, too.
It takes a village.
Bill Musgrave. Yeah, that's absolutely true.
I think wouldn't you think Deion Sanders...
Deion and Bill Musgrave, he calls him Billy. They're friends.
Right, they are. And I imagine that Deion, who's been around football a long time, and now granted, Deion's branding was very self-made, but, I mean, was Deion not pretty coachable? I mean, I know he had the instincts and everything, but, he played for some pretty good coaches, too.
We get to Desmond in Elyria. You're next up on the Fan. Hello, Desmond.
Hey, my brother, man. Hey, Ken, I love you, brother. Been listening to you for years.
I appreciate your kind words. Thank you very much, Desmond.
My man, Lima.
Thank you. You don't have to say it. I appreciate the respect, too. Thank you.
You know what, Lima? I've seen you personally, and you little man, you got the little man disease. Anyway.
What's the little, hold on. What's the little man disease? Where have you seen me?
We go on these podcasts.
No, where have you seen me? I want to know. You said you've seen me. Where have you seen me?
It's been years ago. It's downtown on 6th Street. You guys
were we partying together?
Oh boy. No. Lima, me and you don't party together.
Why not?
Let Desmond say his piece.
I want to know, why don't we party together?
I'll party with Desmond.
Were we going into different clubs on West 6? I can tell you, I've been to all of them.
Hey, Lima.
Go ahead, Desmond.
I'm going to calm you down because I'm going to say on a lot of podcasts throughout football, and there's some of them are Shador lovers, some are just like to talk football. You are perceived as a Shador hater.
So why is that? Why do you think that is?
You know what? I don't know. I mean, I listen to you, and I've seen Lima. You can go both ways sometime. You, my man. You can say some things that's out of pocket.
Can you name one of them? Can you name one of the things that I've said that was out of pocket?
Lima, I am too old to see things in my brain like that.
Okay, I'll give you a break. I'll give you a break. Is that why we weren't partying together? Did you think you were too old?
No.
You are damn focused on you guys partying together. Let the man make his point.
Is a lot older than he acts.
Hey, I do want to make a point. I called in yesterday and I couldn't get through because you guys were doing things. But you asked a question about the Shador thing, and should Shador stay? Or I forgot how the question went. But anyway, my thing is the field talks. The young man has talked on the field every time, no matter if his dad was coaching anything. Now, we understand. I see his growth with his feet work getting better, but I don't care if it's bad coaching. I don't care what the situation is. When that young man hits the field is going to talk, and that's it. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care, hater, lover, whatever. The field talks.
He's
that's
right.
all we got to care.
He's right. You want to know why Desmond's right? Because you brought it up, and now I'm painting you out to be a hater, and I'm sorry about that. But you brought it up on Monday. What was Tennessee doing when they picked off the pass? Did they not do the?
They all mocked him.
They did the wrist.
Yeah.
They did the whole thing. They don't do that about quarterbacks they don't care about. There's no celebration for picking off Bailey Zappi.
Well, they did do it for Johnny Football,
and they cared about him, and they wanted to make him look
but
bad.
they did not respect Johnny Football.
Desmond, thank you for calling and bringing this up.
Hold on, they did not respect Johnny Football. Did they respect Shador Sanders?
I think they had to, considering they got it close. That's a hell of a point, but I'm looking at it going, if you have famous quarterbacks go out there, defenses are emotional. They pride themselves on making guys look like garbage. Now, if Shador goes and plays an exceedingly high level, yeah, you're going to stop that because you don't want to heat that guy up.
Right.
Like, they're not doing it to Josh Allen and Mahomes and Lamar. No one's doing that to Lamar Jackson.
Think about how many that stopped very quickly with LeBron.
Yes.
Yes. Deshaun Stevenson.
And we make fun of the guys who do, like Dylan Brooks
the Soldier
and all
Boy
that stuff.
Remember back in the day?
But, like, if Shador goes out there and, like, he puts it on the Bears on Sunday and they win that football game, like, yeah, there's probably going to be a little bit less. You don't want to get those guys heated up. It's the same thing you brought up with booing and things like that. It's the same thing. But if they didn't, he's saying the field talks, whether it's good or bad. And you know when he's out there on that field, these guys, they see everything. They see what the former players say. Yeah, I'm going to go get mine. You know why I remember that?
You know why I remember any of that with Dylan Gabriel.
Exactly. You know why I remember the name? I think Wallace Gilberry. It's because he stood up and he did the money sign right over, and I would have never thought of him.
Yeah.
Because he wouldn't have done that for anybody else. Johnny's a bad example, but it's the truth of what Desmond is saying. That guy's on the field, everybody's talking. Everybody's talking. Mary Kay, 8:20. Coming up, who would we pick to replace Sharon Moore? Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. I got a hell of a thought for you on the Fan.
Real estate market.
I'ma give their thoughts on what you might have missed about last night.
Well, last night the big story was the firing and subsequent arrest of former Michigan head coach Sharon Moore. The situation still developing over in Ann Arbor. And with that, we wanted to get into some of the potential next head coaches for the Wolverines. According to BetOnline, the current favorite at 4-1 odds is Kalen DeBoer, the current head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide, who are gearing up for their upcoming playoff matchup. But Ken, you and I were talking earlier before the show about a potential former Alabama head coach, or the idea of him going to Michigan.
Yeah, you're going to hear a lot today, and I think some people are going to be bringing up Nick Saban, and I think that means they put zero thought into this. Nick Saban is in his 70s, and he looks great for a man in his 70s. It doesn't mean you don't make the call, but I think if you're just starting with, they got to go out and they got to get Nick Saban, I don't think that's realistic. I think that you have to actually know college football and look in some of the places in college football and find what would make a athletic department tick. Just yelling Nick Saban into the ether ain't going to get it done. Yeah, you can call and put back channels and be, hey, would he be interested at all? No, probably not, because I think he likes what he's doing now and watching the games at home. But no, I don't think that's realistic. I think the realistic place to start, yes, is Kalen DeBoer. And Lima put me through my paces at the beginning of the show on that. I think that's a realistic place. If I were him, I'd be out of there as soon as possible if you lose to Oklahoma. I think it makes everybody happy. But I think it starts with Kalen DeBoer. It goes to Kenny Dillingham. I think it ends with P.J. Fleck in Minnesota.
What about
that one?
Boy, that's interesting. Things have kind of run its course in Minnesota where he's not going to be able to get the NIL stuff. But he is considered a good coach and a good program builder, a good culture guy.
When he was at Western Michigan, I mean, they were playing at the Cotton Bowl or Citrus Bowl or something. They were in a big bowl game. They were a 11-1 football team. He can recruit there. He'll have NIL help there. But I think that this kind of bounces around, goes to some different places, goes to maybe some crazy places, and ends with P.J. Fleck if it doesn't finish with Kalen DeBoer.
What about Jed Fish?
Jed Fish is an interesting one because I know for a fact he definitely wants out of Washington.
Well, yeah.
So I think Jed Fish...
And I'm saying,
oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was like...
And quarterback.
Whoa, you're ripping Washington.
Well, no, you're leaving Washington every
he is a quarterback coach.
every time. But quarterback guy, and his players have loved him along the way.
Yeah. I don't know if he's the Michigan type of guy that people would want. He's been a good quarterback coach throughout his career.
Like we're talking to the Shador fans. Why do you think Shador's dad doesn't get mentioned for any of these jobs?
The only reason I think about it is, I mean, he did go through a serious health scare this last summer, and I thought he might step away from the game at the end of this year.
I thought so too, but he's not. And so I thought what he had done at Colorado, I know their record's terrible this year, but if people are looking and going, well, they don't.
I'm kind of waiting to see when he's in a no-win situation. Because if you're in Michigan, you're like, I'm getting this guy who had serious health issues, and he's battled through them, and he was back on the sideline. They didn't finish that well. Then they didn't recruit. So I'm wondering if they're turning the well off on him at Colorado. And I'm like, I'm going to bring him in here, and then how long am I going to have him? Because I think that a lot of people don't really trust him to think he could just go, you know what, I'm just going to go back on a TV desk. Especially if his son starts doing well.
Oh,
I'm going to
go
back on a TV desk and talk on the NFL, and I've had my fun, and it's been a fine career, certainly. I mean, if he were to leave now, I think he's left Colorado in a better place than he found it. Some haters will disagree with that, but I think it was very hard to not leave that place in a better place than he found it. They were awful.
Deion's not even listed on the odds list right now, which includes Brian Kelly, John Gruden, and one Tommy Reese at 18-1 odds right now.
I also think, Kalen DeBoer is pretty loud. I understand that. I think they just want to be quiet up there right now. Kalen DeBoer would make sense. It would be loud. Like Jesse Minter. Jesse Minter's got a show clause. You mentioned it. I don't think they want anything to do with Jim Harbaugh's staff. I think they want to air that out a little bit. Dillingham's an up-and-coming coach, but it's Arizona State. I think P.J. Fleck, I think he would end up being like who they settle on. Go ahead, Mitch.
Going from that over to Berea yesterday, we heard from our quarterback, Shador Sanders, just mentioned a few minutes ago. Shador keeping the mindset on this week and not for the potential of 2026 and onwards, according to the quarterback.
That's a long, deep thought. That's not in my focus. My focus right now is the team we're playing ahead, the Bears. Anything past that, I'm not really focused on, honestly. I'm thankful for it, but I'm not content, with my situation, with everything, and with leading this team.
Great thought to have. Every time he speaks. I mean, we've seen media members flip-flop on him on this station. Every time he speaks, an angel gets its wings and a radio show host changes their opinion. He's a likable young man.
Yeah.
What else do you want me to say, Mitch? Mitch is looking at me like, are you going to continue to pour it on?
I know when he called, whose question was it that he called rude a few weeks ago? And we just kind of assumed he didn't really... He jumped to a conclusion on that
he
one.
He
and
knows
just
what
didn't
people
hear
think of Kevin Stefanski. He knows what his fan base thinks of Kevin Stefanski. I think he's doing everything he can to diffuse that. And so, yeah, he's going to be a little bit on edge when someone asks him about Kevin.
Finally, here, our quarterback for Ohio State, Julian Sang, being asked yesterday about the Buckeyes' loss to Indiana and thought if it cost him the Heisman Trophy.
Not really a thought, just was sick to my stomach that we lost and really wanted to win the conference for our university. So it was definitely a tough loss, but move on, and we got more games to play.
Are you like me and you're hoping for a long blank stare on camera from Sang to Fernando Mendoza when he wins the Heisman?
A long blank stare?
I want him to have like a 1,000-yard stare in his eyes to motivate him to go win the national championship for Ohio State.
You're saying using that weekend, because they'll spend a lot of time together. The finalists all do.
Yes.
They end up being like best friends and all over each other's social media. But
that
then
probably starts today, right?
Fernando Mendoza looks like he doesn't hold a grudge.
By the way, we asked yesterday, I'm like,
Julian Sang
hey,
holds a grudge
was Mendoza like this before? I remember just seeing some highlights from him. I'll be honest, I didn't see a ton of them though when he was at Cal, and I
called him fake.
I saw no, I didn't. I saw videos of him at Cal, and he was exact same. So this isn't a Signetti. No, the interviews. He was the exact same. So this isn't a Signetti.
Okay.
Plant, or he's just like talking like his coach. No, he had been doing this before. Maybe that's what drew him to Signetti. I don't know.
That's it for about last night.
Outstanding as always. Big thanks to you, Mitch. Coming up at 8:20 this morning, Mary Kay Cabot going to join us on the show. 9 o'clock, the dangerous one, Daryl Ryder. So damn dangerous is Daryl. And I think we're talking about the wrong people being scared in 2026. Ken Carman, Anthony Lima. That in 5 on the Fan. Tom Merriman and Merriman Legal, folks.
Gold Glover still under team control for another 2 years. Don't miss the Kevin Stefanski Show, followed by Thursday Night Football. All begins tonight at 7 o'clock right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Catch Afternoon Drive with Nick Wilson and Jonathan Peterlin live on YouTube each and every weekday from 2 to 7 p.m.
I want to play this Lloyd audio coming up here in Nick's retort. However, we're talking a little bit about Sherrone Moore during about last night, and Owen had brought up about his climb to being from assistant to a head coach, and I said, I think Marcus Freeman gave a lot of teams a bad idea, a lot of programs bad ideas, because I think in so many ways, like there was for a long time in football, like when you and I were kids, we were like at the back end of it where it's like, yeah, coach gets fired or steps away, the assistant goes up, and that's just how it works. Like guys were assistants in places for a while, and they would eventually be the head coach. And whether that worked or not, whatever, and they would get a chance, and you've seen situations where it did work. I mean, the Browns did win a championship with Paul Brown's assistant. But you see so many situations where it didn't, and they got away from it, and then Marcus Freeman comes in.
Were the players wearing onesies that year?
Otto Graham wore a onesie. Whatever you want to say, deny it all you want. It's right there. The picture is right there. The jersey's in the Hall of Fame.
So why isn't that coming back in style then?
Call Jim McCriss down at the Hall of Fame. The jersey's down there. It's a onesie. Don't yell at me. I don't know why I have to yell to defend myself. Otto Graham wore a onesie. Maybe Shedeur should wear a onesie.
I just want to make sure this doesn't go down in history as the Tim McCarver's daughter's married to Kevin Stefanski thing.
It's real. I don't know if the Tim McCarver thing is real.
That's not real.
If he's got to have back tape, which I understand, and you don't want a bunch of yahoos saying that you're wearing a thong or whatever, maybe Shedeur, we should go back to the onesie
I'm on
jersey.
Tim McCarver right now. What are we doing?
One legendary Browns quarterback wore a onesie. Why can't he? I can't even remember the point that we were actually talking about.
More.
Yeah. Marcus Freeman, you can tell, is clearly different from Brian Kelly in about a million different ways. And I think Marcus Freeman is the quintessential this generation's coach. Positive, positive, positive. Yeah, he's going to jump on you, but he cares about you. Brian Kelly came from a bygone era where you treated your guys like garbage. You were a demigod, and it didn't work. And it certainly didn't work at LSU. And it was on its way to probably not working at Notre Dame, but you can argue, you can disagree if you want. And I look at Sherrone Moore, and I think that Michigan was just like, this guy is an assistant. He's going to work cheap compared to the other ones. Like, okay. And you see that around college football. There's been the interim's getting the job, and it's like, all right, we'll see here in a couple years. And most of the time, I thought Sherrone Moore, at the end of next year, probably they'd be like 9-3, 8-4, and then they may be kind of kicking around like, hey, we got this really good quarterback, but we got this guy, maybe it's time to go in a different direction.
Especially when you're getting guys to cut the checks that they're cutting.
Yes, but that would be the best case scenario, because before all this other craziness with the allegations of the philandering and the other things that are brought up on those message boards and in those reports about him and this mistress, and then what we know that he's in jail right now. Because at first I'm like, hey, guys flame out. Guys even get in trouble as head coaches for running around on their wives. Go ask Bobby Petrino. And it's like, yeah, in 10 years I could see him, hey, the Arkansas State Red Wolves are going to the bowl game, whatever, and he's the head coach. Like, guys are able to get it. Now this is a total big mess. But I thought eventually they'd get there. I didn't see it going this way. I thought they'd get to the point where it's like, all right, we got to go out and get the real guy. I know that they're talking about Marcus Freeman. I don't think Marcus Freeman's leaving for anything. But we got to go out and get the real guy. Now it's different. Now they've put themselves in a weird spot. I don't think it's going to be Rich Rod bad, but it could go bad. I don't think it will. Do you think it will? Do you think they'll go back to the dark ages of Rich Rod?
No, especially
they did win a Sugar Bowl with Brady Hoke, but
was that Denard Robinson?
I think so. Ask Keith. He knows.
I think they'll be fine. I think it's a coveted job, and they have boosters that are going to spend money in this era. So, and there's the fact that the Ohio State, Michigan rivalry has even gone up a few notches over the last few years. I think that only adds to it. I think it's a big-time job. And I'm an Ohio State fan saying this. I can be honest. It is a big-time job, and I think they want to keep up with the Joneses. And so you need the resources to do that. They will give whoever the head coach is the resources to do it. The more things seemed almost like, I don't want to say a cheap hire because I know they're paying him too, but it just didn't seem like a hire the likes of, like Ohio State. I just couldn't see them making a hire like that. I know they hired Tressel back in the day, but that was how many national championships?
It was a different era. And like Roadman will tell you, there were a lot of people who were like, what?
Well,
You're
yeah.
doing what? Because I remember as a kid, I'm like, well, yeah, he's won a bunch of national championships.
Right?
I was 14. I didn't know any better. I was like, he's won a bunch of national championships at YSU. He's from here, this, that, and the other. Like, yeah, this guy's a shoo-in. I didn't think he'd become the senator and the legend and lieutenant governor, literally, of the state of Ohio. But I thought that he'd be good. Now, I don't know. I don't know if Jim Tressel would be considered at a place like Ohio State.
Right.
Coming from Youngstown State.
No, I actually don't think he would.
Chris Kleiman, who just retired, he had to go to Kansas State.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't take big-time FCS champions and just put them into a power program like that. They gotta go to the other. Lance Leipold, still at Kansas. Like, it takes a minute. So that was a bygone era. I think for a program like Michigan, I think they'll probably be able to go out and poach somebody doing pretty well. And I think they should start with Kalen DeBoer. I want to hear Jason Lloyd. Now, he's going to be on with me tomorrow, and I might put him through his paces on this. They're talking about whether or not Kevin Stefanski getting let go. Obviously, everybody's talking about that and whether or not he should and whether or not he will. But Jason said it's not a very attractive job, and he has very interesting reasoning behind that.
This is not an attractive job. You got 2 number 1 picks next year. That's great. The cap is a mess right now. You have no offensive line, literally no offensive line. And the ownership's reputation is well known throughout the league. Whether they've tried to change that or not in recent years, that's still their stigma or their reputation. And depending on what they do with Shedeur, he is not a coach for everyone. There's a lot of coaches who won't probably even touch this job because of the Shedeur situation where it stands right now.
Nick Wilson took umbrage with that later on. Here is Nick's point of view.
If I was Jimmy Haslam and I'm sitting there and I'm interviewing you for the right to coach my team, and you said, my one thing is I want Shedeur gone.
Is that an instant out for you?
Yes, you're a coward. Like, what kind of, I'll be honest, it's such a soft, all these big, tough football men, we're just about football and we run through walls, me meathead. Oh, social media. Oh, God. He's got a YouTube presence, guys. He's got a guy taking pictures of him.
Oh, no, he's got a hobby. He does music.
I mean, good God. What kind of spineless jags do we have in football? Talk to Shedeur for 5 minutes and tell me that kid's a problem in the building.
Right, exactly. You should be excited. You should be excited to be around Shedeur.
I love that these coaches, we drill it into the kids, these football players all the time. Shut out the noise. Shut out the noise. And then, oh no, he's on TikTok. That's from China. What are we going to do? You got to have no balls to be afraid of a social media influencing quarterback, especially when the kids put something on tape that shows he can play.
I think we might have a flip-flop situation there because I remember back in February, I think he was warning everybody about Deion Sanders coming here. I have to go back and check the tapes, though. Either way, I think they're kind of talking about the wrong thing. Or they're talking about 2 different things. I think that Jason Lloyd is talking about the agents in the NFL through so many ways. Like, I think of Jimmy Sexton, a Neil Cornrich, those type of guys who represent head coaches. I think that they'd be more afraid of that and the situation that's representing that. I think that the people around them would be more afraid. I think coaches run towards coaching. In the words of Mike Tomlin, I think a lot of guys want to run towards that. If you see an opportunity to be a part of something special, if you see a part of something special that you think you can make even better, or that has the possibilities to do that, I think that they might want to do that. And I think that Nick is in so many ways, like, I might feel the same way, but I would feel I'm overreacting a little bit. Because I don't think that if Kevin were fired today, who's your top candidate right off the top of your head? I'm putting you in a weird spot, but go right on ahead.
Man.
Say Clint Kubiak. I'll give you the name. Clint Kubiak is not going to walk into an 8-hour meeting and how these things work and go, I'm afraid of Dennis 69 and Pot Smoke 420 on the internet coming after me. Like, they're not doing that. And Clint Kubiak's not doing that. But I think their agents look at some of the reaction to this and go, boy, my guy's already walking into a hornet's nest over here. Is that something? I think they'll look at it and go, I either do or do not think that your quarterback is good enough to work with. And then I think, honestly, the coach is going to be looking at the owner's reaction to that. Because I think the ownership cares way more about any of this stuff online and anything Nick and Jonathan and you and
they see everything.
And everybody is saying ownership is always going to care way more about that than anything a head coach coming in from across the country, possible head coach would.
I mostly agree with Nick here because the way,
but I just don't think it's realistic.
If Shedeur is playing like he did in that fourth quarter, throughout the rest of the slate, it's going to be tough. Sub-zero conditions, offensive line issues, the receiver room, and he's overcoming all of that. Coaches won't care about all the stuff that surrounds Shedeur and his fans and what they call coaches who they think are saboteurs, or if they play the victimization thing. No coach is going to care about any of that if Shedeur is playing like he did in the fourth quarter. It's just a fact.
No, they're not.
They're going to be like, I'll handle that. Well, that's not going to be a big deal.
I think, the third quarter was lacking. I thought he put together a really nice game, though. If he continues to do that, I think that this becomes a different job. Jason says right now at the end of that clip, as of right now, you got a quarterback's contract that you don't even want to play the guy, that you have to crawl out from under here over the next couple of years. You have an offensive line, just like what he said, which is tough. You have some hope at the quarterback position. What's your ownership willing to do? Because if your ownership, and to some level your fan base, but if your ownership feels that he's the guy by the end of this year and you don't, this ain't going to work. I think that's what we really need to get down to. And maybe that's fine. But I'm not going to accuse a guy on my list here that in case they have to fire Kevin Stefanski, I'm not going to accuse any of them coming in there and hiding under a desk over people on the internet.
This job has kind of changed. It's been an irrelevant team in many ways. The Browns are an afterthought. Shedeur has brought certainly some national attention to it. Now that can be fleeting if he's just not good. If he just struggles the rest of the year or whatever, like some of that's going to go away. It's not going to go away for the Shannon Sharps of the world. They're going to bring it up every chance they get. Stephen A. Smith's going to talk about it. So, that's the one thing. Like it will kind of feel in some ways like, hey, you're coaching an NFC East team that's going to be under the microscope a little more. As long as Shedeur is here. So it will have that feeling. And if a coach can't handle that, I agree with Nick. Like, if a coach can't handle that, then he shouldn't be coaching. He shouldn't even want to be in the profession to begin with.
I don't think a head coach is going to go into a meeting like that. I don't even think they'd take the meeting. I don't think they'd take the interview. If they really feel that way, I don't want him coaching the team at all. Yeah. I would agree with Nick, but I don't think that anybody would really feel that way if over the next 4 games he goes out and throws for 300 yards a game and 3 touchdowns in every one of these games. Even if they lose them, I think that a lot of coaches are going to go, whoa, wait a minute, he was a 5th-round pick, and he's doing this? And he did that with Bill Musgrave, and he did that with Tommy Rees and Kevin Stefanski.
On a rookie salary, 5th-round scale.
Yeah, I'm going to work with that.
Money, Jason started out by saying, well, the cap is a mess. Yeah. I'll tell you what makes the cap not be a mess is landing a rookie quarterback on a rookie deal in the 5th round.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say this before we have Mary Kay. Ladies and gentlemen, I will be getting a picture sent of the onesie when my friend Jim gets to work at the Pro Football Hall of Fame coming up here this morning. I have evidence I will be showing you of the autogram onesie. That's where we're at. Taking the field like Beyonce.
Will Shedeur honor the great autogram? Will he honor the great autogram by wearing a onesie and being an influencer and having everybody now, all the kids that watch him and emulate him?
Well, he wanted to make sure it was tucked in. But I don't blame him for that. I don't blame him. Mary Kay, coming up. Browns aren't winning games, but Shedeur's playing well. Could that save Kevin? Ken Carman, Anthony Lima, live on the Fan. Northeast.
up in Orlando on Wednesday. Only rumors for the Guardians were connected to a report from ESPN that the club plans to hang on to left fielder Stephen Kwan, the four-time Gold Glove winner, still under team control for another 2 years. Don't miss the Kevin Stefanski Show, followed by Thursday Night Football. All starts tonight at 7 o'clock right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Coming up at 8:45, you're going to have to tell your uncle to listen, your grandfather to listen, maybe some buddies at work. We have to debunk another internet thing going on around the Browns.
Who started this one?
I don't know. We got to debunk it. It got sent to me 1,000,000 times, and I finally said, Lima, can you text somebody over there?
I thought it was funny because I was just operating
I don't think
under
they think it's very funny. I don't think that they find it funny at all.
I thought it was kind of a funny joke that spiraled into something must be true on the internet.
Well, the spider webbing of it all and how it connects is phenomenal.
So if you have an uncle who posts a bunch of like fake AI stories about like Travis Kelce giving up his seat in first class to a veteran or on a team flight some way, somehow, please tell them to listen to the show coming up at 8:45. Mary Kay Cabot joins us right now at 8:20. Hello, Mary Kay.
Hello, guys. How you doing?
They don't just let regular people on team flights. I know that there are people who are veterans who might be like with the team who are on team flights, but it's not like the Chiefs don't fly like Southwest. And they're like, oh, that's back there on my flight, my connecting flight. There's Travis Kelce there. But
Ask the Giants about their flight and how they ended up getting an assistant coach booted from the team.
And nobody took a picture of it. Yeah, Brian Cox, he was upset. Anyway, Mary Kay, we're doing okay. It's just things are getting a little bit crazy around here. We got to debunk another thing on the internet coming up later on. Has Shedeur played well enough? 'Cause I heard you earlier this week talking to the guys in the midday, and boy, you kicked up the dander here. If you were the Browns, you're still taking a QB in the first round next year?
At this point, yes. I still need to see 4 more games of Shedeur Sanders proving that they don't need to do that. I still think it's too small a sample size to say we absolutely don't need to do that yet. So he's got to go out there, and he knows it. The headline on my story for Shedeur from yesterday was, if I'm here, I'm here. If I'm not, I'm not. He knows that he has to go out and prove himself in these next 4 games to be the Browns' starting quarterback of the future. So I don't think that's any kind of radical idea. I think it's pretty obvious that this is an audition for him and that they haven't 100% reached that conclusion yet.
Mary Kay with us. So I agree with you there. It's far too early, but we have seen absolutely some positive steps from what we saw from the Rams game in the preseason to the second half, where he was thrown into a terrible spot against Baltimore. And now where we were in that fourth quarter last week seemed like night and day. And so I would ask you, how much credit, because we know Shedeur deserves most of it, but how much credit should the coaching staff get?
Well, I think they deserve a ton of credit for bringing Shedeur Sanders along the way that they have. I think they deserve a lot of credit for that. And they worked very, very hard to get him to the point where he can go out there and function the way that he did on Sunday. And I thought he did an amazing job on Sunday. I saw so many traits in him that had me thinking that he really could be the guy. And I'm sure the Browns felt the same way, too. He showed elusiveness. He showed toughness. He showed the it factor. He showed the ability to come back and put his team in a position to win the game at the end, which he has now done a couple of times. He just showed a lot of things. It reminded me of some of the good Baker Mayfield days when the stadium was rocking and everyone was behind him and times were good. So, yeah, I saw plenty there that leads me to believe that perhaps he can be the guy, but he needs to keep adding to the pile.
Then why doesn't the coaching staff get credit? Like, we took calls earlier and people were like, no, absolutely not. None.
Well, there's a narrative that persists out there in the national media world from, some former players and on social media that Kevin has tried to somehow sabotage Shedeur. And once something like that catches fire out there in the social media world, it just grows and grows and grows. And that's where things stand right now. But the truth of the matter is that they altered their entire practice schedule for Shedeur Sanders, and that they've done so many things to try to make sure that he can go out there and be successful. And I think those are a lot of the reasons why you're seeing him play the way he's playing now.
Mary Kay Cabot joining us on the fan hotline. For him, is it important to win games? Because let me ask you this, or let me throw this by, I should say. I gave this early, and most people think when I'm fighting against tanking, they're like, oh, Kenny's just prideful. He's an idiot. Well, I might be stupid, but I at least know some street smarts here. And when it comes to their season, like if they are not in the top 2 picks and he plays well and they've won a couple of games, I do think that changes it, because then you have to bump up. And it's like, well, if I don't have to bump up for one of these QBs, maybe I can roll in 2026 with him. So I do think it's important to win a couple of games just to make sure while you play well, because I think if new people come in, maybe they're going to go, yeah, he did play well. We're still going to hedge our bets. We're going to go after another quarterback. And then before you know it, we got ourselves another 4 QB training camp again.
You know, I don't know if it's that complicated when they take the field. I think they're trying to go out and win every game that they can the rest of the way. And I think that Shedeur Sanders is going out and trying to play the absolute best that he can in every single one of these games. And I don't think that his victory total, his win-loss record, is going to be the determining factor. I think it's going to be the traits and the growth that they see. And I really do think in this past game, I forgot to mention the elite accuracy, which is huge. If a quarterback has that, I've talked to some evaluators who believe that kind of accuracy and the ability to place the ball the way that he does, some people think that that's the number one trait of a quarterback. Others think that it's the processing speed and just the game management and just getting through the game brilliantly. But that kind of accuracy can take you places because you're going to throw touchdown passes and score points and win games. And I think those traits that he has shown and exhibited, those are the things that are going to matter in the final analysis. And if he keeps it up the way that he did on Sunday, then they won't feel like they have to go out and grab a quarterback with that first-round pick.
All right, Mary Kay, just checking in on the weather. Things could change a little bit, but as we are getting closer to Sunday in Chicago, do you have a heated jacket at your disposal, or is it just going to be fine making your way over to the stadium and in the warm confines of the press box?
Well, yeah, like you said, we're inside in the press box, so nobody needs to worry about me, that's for sure. But I do know that the photographers and those guys are really, really gearing up for this. And I actually think there should be a cutoff point where players should have to go out there and play in some kind of extreme temperatures. Now, I'm sure that nobody would agree with me on that, but I just think when it's dangerous, I just don't know if it's smart to have guys out there when it's, minus 20 wind chills. But
are you worried about frostbite for Shedeur Sanders?
I'm worried about all of the guys out there in those kind of temperatures. I think it's dangerous, but they'll have provisions. They'll have heaters on the sidelines. But, I mean, you really have to, when you're out there, your face has to be exposed and for the most part, and your hands to a degree and all of that. But, yeah, I worry about everybody in this type of situation. I do think it's very, very dangerous.
Well, you covered the Saints game, right? Was that Christmas Eve? Is that right? Where the temperatures here at Brown Stadium, I don't know, did they get down to, did it feel like
really cold?
Negative 20?
It was really cold. Cold day.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the NFLPA should fight this kind of thing and put their foot down, and there should be some kind of a cutoff point for when it's just too dangerous to go out there and play the game of football.
What is the temperature you would set it at?
I don't really know. I don't really know. I haven't really thought it through to that point yet, but it would probably be somewhere in the single digits with the wind chills in the minus 20.
Sounds like you're counting down the days till we get that dome.
Yeah, Mary Kay, what's going on there?
No, not really. No, I do.
Mary Kay is an advocate for Big Dome. That's how this goes right now.
No, I do like the elements for the most part, but I also think that once you get to a certain point, it doesn't even make football sense anymore.
Mary Kay Cabot joining us here on the Fan Hotline. Now, no, because I'm going to couch it because people are going to hear it for the first time and get mad at me. So I have to couch and go, I don't feel this way, so I don't get hurt. But I'm going to ask Mary Kay this. Do you believe there's any validity to Miles on Sunday maybe being too focused on sacks against the Tennessee Titans, and that's why Tony Pollard is still running down 90?
I think that they came in here with a tremendous game plan. So I'm going to say no, that he wasn't too focused on the sacks, but I just think that these guys came in here with their plan of what they wanted to do, and they executed it perfectly. And I don't think it helped matters at all that Malik Collins wasn't in the game. That was an adjustment period for the Cleveland Browns, and now they know just how much Malik Collins really does mean to their running game, their run defense this season. But no, I'm going to say no on that. But certainly the Bears are going to be looking to do the same thing, and they have the resources to do so. So it's a copycat league, and I'm sure that they're going to try to tighten him.
I was talking to some coaches over the week, and I asked them, and they were like, hey, man, you go back and you watch that all 22. That's the Malik Collins difference, because then you got Mike Hall, who is in his second year but doesn't have a lot of experience. And then you have Mason Graham, who's a rookie, and they might not know. I know it's an attacking front, but they might not know the run fits the way that they're supposed to, or their gap schemes, I should say, the way that they're supposed to. And you tend to get gashed if you don't have that guy there in the middle. I think that is that why they went out and they got Mo Hurst there, Mary Kay?
Well, yeah, that's one of the reasons that Mo is back in the building. And, he does have that experience, and he will probably be in there. But, that's what that was about. That was the Cleveland Browns adjusting to life after Malik Collins and realizing the full impact of what he meant to the team this season. And then also it was just a combination of that and the Titans deciding we are not going to let this guy get the sack record. And, there was so much talk all week about it when I sent my colleague, Irie Harris, into the Titans locker room just to specifically ask about the impact that the Browns had, on their game plan, talking all week about Miles getting the sack record. And they acknowledged, we did not want to let that happen here. So that's going to be probably something they have to deal with the rest of the way.
Was the scheme bad last week defensively against Tennessee? Did they take them too lightly? Did Jim Schwartz, do you think he'd allude to any of that when he gets the opportunity to talk?
Well, we do get to talk to Jim Schwartz today, so looking forward to hearing what he has to say about that. I don't necessarily think the scheme was bad, but like I said, I think that it was the first game trying to adjust to, the absence of Malik, and that combined with just a Titans team with their hair on fire and really determined and on a mission not to let the Browns accomplish their goal in that game.
Has Ethan Posick played his last game for the Browns?
Well, it's possible because his contract is up after this season. It's tough to come back from an Achilles. He probably wouldn't be able to be on the field until around September, so you have to make alternative plans at center. And then also he's 30 now, I believe, and he is, you'd have to figure out what you would want to pay him. So there is a chance that he has, but certainly stranger things have happened. These guys are coming back stronger from Achilles quicker than they used to. And if he can demonstrate that he's healthy, they really, really like him. So I'm going to say with this team, you never say never, but they do have to make other plans.
Mary Kay, we thank you so much for the time. Oh, if you went to the Limas for dinner, do you think you'd leave hungry?
No. Why would I?
Because they eat like birds. Of course, you eat like bird. You eat like a bird, too. You don't eat a lot.
I'm sure we would be just fine.
Okay, fine.
Is it Mary Kay's birthday?
Is it Mary Kay's birthday?
Wasn't it?
It was Monday.
Monday. Happy birthday to you. I don't think we can do any more.
Happy
monetization rights. We can't say
Oh,
anymore.
my God, you're right. All right.
Thank
Phone
you.
is ringing from the legal
fine.
department.
Today's your birthday. Happy birthday, Mary Kay.
Oh, wait. Who owns the Beatles catalog?
Michael Jackson.
Who owns Michael Jackson's catalog? Prince?
Are you serious?
No, I don't.
Oh, I didn't know that. All right, Mary Kay, happy birthday. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. That was a nice surprise. Thanks a lot.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for your time. Mary Kay Cabot. I wanted to sing the whole song.
I don't think we can do any singing or dancing.
Any money owns Prince's.
Fine, to hell with it. Daryl Ryder.
Is that true?
901. Guys, it's time to debunk more internet silliness surrounding the Browns. It can never just be 3-10. It can never just be a bad record.
It's a good one.
When you want to get nuts, you're always going to get nuts with the Cleveland Browns. It's coming up at 5 on The Fan.
All right, so a lot of people always go to these various websites. How much is my home worth? And they sign up for these newsletters. They get text messages. Hey, we'll take this home off your hands immediately.
revenge not with champagne, but by dousing McCarver with 4 tubs of ice water. McCarver was furious. So was CBS Sports. Rick Gentile, their producer, complained to National League President Bill White last night. McCarver wants a meeting with White as soon as he can get one. And after this confrontation, Tim McCarver confronted Sanders.
McCarver's right here. Right now. Here you go. I got a real man. You know that? You are a real man, Dion. I'll say that.
Think of
R.I.P. Tim McCarver.
Think of how crazy.
Courtesy ESPN.
Courtesy of the original ESPN.
I mean, can you imagine
waking up and staying home from school and watching the same Sports Center 8 times over ESPN, the way it used to be?
Charlie Steiner's smoky eyeglasses.
ESPN.
Oh, yeah. So today that would be what? Does Tom Glavine do all these games as the analyst?
No, Smoltz.
I'm sorry, Smoltz.
One of them.
Yeah, one of them.
Linda Cohn with the Hillary Clinton
Avery.
first term hair.
Steve Avery.
ESPN.
So they
John Rocker.
I'm just trying to put it in today's terms what that would be like. The guy broadcasting the games and then, one of the big time players doing that in the locker room, the clubhouse. Like after that game, this was what, the NLCS?
92 NLCS.
So now we got to tell everybody the reason why you played it. You guys ready to go down the rabbit hole? The internet rabbit hole? Now, go ahead. Tell them, because you're the one who started talking with top people to make sure that this was taken care of properly.
It's already been community noted on social media.
Has it?
That it has been debunked that no, Kevin Stefanski is not married to Tim McCarver's daughter. And that's the reason that Kevin Stefanski hates Shedeur Sanders, who happens to be the son of Deion Sanders. The internet put that together, and it was, I think, a funny joke on the internet that became, that's one of the reasons why Shedeur is not getting a fair shake here. Is by the way, the starting quarterback of the Browns this week. That quarterback who's not getting a fair shake. The guy that went from 4-string to starter this Sunday as a 5th-round pick, which almost never happens.
So I told you, tell your uncles, tell your grandfathers, tell your aunts who post the fake AI stories on the internet talking about how great guys are. All the other things, because they believe everything they see on the Facebook.
Kenny, we were sent it by a bunch of people.
My phone blew up with it yesterday, and most of the people were like, hey, this can't be real, right? Which that got annoying in its own right, saying no, Merry Christmas, no, Happy Holidays to you too, man. Glad you got the card, this and the other, no. But then Lima and I did have a host of people, not our buddy Dan in Little Italy. He just wanted to know. Not talking about you, Dan. Good man. But there was a host of people going, can you guys believe this? I'm like, no, because it ain't real. No.
It is a funny joke. Like, it is a funny thing to think that is really the thing that people were
when all the people want to believe it, it ain't that funny.
Oh, you think it was taken too far?
No.
But it was so easy to debunk.
It's annoying. That's what I mean. Like, I don't think anybody should apologize over it or anything like that. You took the joke too far. No, it's just like, okay. But it's like, you guys want all this crap to be real, and it's not real.
Because you want a logical reason to support. If you think that Shedeur was being in any way mishandled, it seems like he was being mishandled. But if you think he was being sabotaged, if you were thinking that, and man, we had heard it all from all the ex-athletes on their podcasts, and some of the big-time sports talkers in the country were really saying some serious things against Kevin Stefanski. I mean, Manuel Acho and what they were saying about Kevin, like going after his character. Maybe he's just a bad evaluator of talent. That doesn't mean that he hated Shedeur, that he looks at the people with the color of skin the same as Shedeur.
Like, I can't be clear enough about. There's a couple things that just like, guys, that's just the Browns.
You're right. We've seen a lot of.
You don't need to go and do any. You don't need to go and do any sort of sleuthing. You don't need to go and do any sort of conspiracy theory. I don't need to bring in a tinfoil hat. Guys, I love conspiracy theories. I do. But you don't need to do it. That's just the Browns. They took Dylan Gabriel because they all share the agent. Jimmy Sexton is like the agent of like 85,000 coaches.
Yes.
There's like a defensive coordinator at St. Thomas Aquinas High School who somehow has Jimmy Sexton as his agent. That's why he took Dylan Gabriel. No, they just liked an undersized quarterback who ain't that good. That's
and then,
Browns.
by the way, his agency also represents all the big media people.
Yeah, it's Browns.
So
it's the Browns.
It's all incestuous.
You can say this doesn't make sense or that doesn't make sense or this, that, and the other. Guys, it's the Browns. In the end, it doesn't make sense. You got to stop looking for reasons, or you're gonna drive yourself crazy. They're a 3-10 football team again, and they're the Browns. Well, they took Dylan Gabriel because they're all sharing the same agent. Nope. They went there and they liked him, and they looked at him and they said, undersized and his arm's okay, and all that. Oh no, we're gonna turn him into something. Turn him into a career backup for a guy you took in the 5th round.
They must have thought he was a little taller than he ended up being. They must have. They must have just sat down with him and didn't stand next to him. I mean, they had to. There's no other reason. There's no way to explain it.
Same franchise. Now, I know it's not the same people, but it's the same franchise that called, Cameron Jordan instead of Jordan Cameron or vice versa? Happens. It's the Browns.
Didn't that happen with Matt Campbell recently? Penn State?
My one buddy kept calling him Dan Campbell over the weekend. I go, no, it's Matt. It's Matt. Dan Campbell's the one, and then Dan Campbell made the joke about the Matt Campbell one, about the Lions. It wasn't even true. Oh, am I supposed to not say that? I'm sorry. Okay. So that was fun, but it's not real.
Oh, we can officially debunk it. So if any of you hear that out today, you're at the water cooler, getting a drink from the water cooler, and just talking some sports. Just talking some sports, Kenny.
Having
you
some
can
sports.
Debunk it.
Talking some sports talk. We're talking the sports here. That's what we do. We talk the sports. Eddie and Westlake. Eddie, hello.
Chopping it up.
Eddie, let's chop it up. Let's talk some sports.
Hey, so look, I'm gonna give Kevin Stefanski some credit.
Okay.
Wow.
For Shedeur. I'm not giving him a lot. This is the problem. Is they kept on telling us that this kid wasn't ready. They made it sound like this kid, and they were justified because of he went in the 5th round, so they could just hang their hat on that. But they kept on saying he wasn't ready and he's not, like the kid wasn't, getting the X's and the O's down and all that kind of stuff. But yet we see this kid every week get better at something that they want him to get better at. So I think where the whole thing, where the ball got dropped at is, you told us that Flacco and Dylan Gabriel were better than this kid. So if this kid had this ability, but he just needed to be like any other rookie quarterback that enters the NFL, no matter where they're drafted at, he needed help. He needed to work on some of the smaller things. But if you're sitting there telling me that Kevin Stefanski just indulged this all this ability into him, I'm not going to believe that, because I saw 2 quarterbacks that didn't do anything that this kid did. They didn't push the ball down the field. They didn't throw with anticipation and throw these guys open. They didn't do all that kind of stuff. So I guess Kevin Stefanski did that too.
Now, Eddie, let me ask you, do you think, is there, just to play devil's advocate?
I didn't say he was responsible for that, Eddie.
Yeah,
well, I know you're not accusing
and
him of that.
And we'll never know what it would have been like if Shedeur played week 1. I think that would have gone really poorly for him, to be honest. That would have been a really hard spot, but we don't know. I don't know. But do you think,
Eddie, are we just making an argument saying
it couldn't have been? It couldn't have been any worse than what we had.
Well, let me ask you: do you think, Eddie, that they would have been throwing the ball vertical? Week 1 with Shedeur Sanders. I think the season was over,
maybe
and
not
they
week
said,
1.
might as well. The season's over.
I know. That's the thing. Whatever he does, the kid can throw for 500 yards. We're gonna find another excuse for what he's doing. You see what I'm saying? Now
but I don't think that's an excuse. My argument, I'm not taking it.
Guys are in Mexico, so that's why he's doing what he does.
Who's in Mexico?
There's an excuse for everything. You know what I'm saying?
Who's in Mexico?
The guys are they're laying down, so that's why Shedeur Sanders is doing this.
Oh, yeah, we didn't say that.
Okay.
The guys are just,
no, I don't believe that.
We got excuses for everything.
Eddie,
the bottom line is the kid is balling.
Eddie, I'm not saying week 1. I'm not going to take it to the extreme like that, but I'm like, I think Eddie, you and I can agree with each other, and I think even Lima, he should have been playing before Dylan Gabriel.
Yes, we said it. We said it at the time that we didn't want to see Dylan Gabriel.
Right. I mean, you want to talk about evaluation. Eddie, thank you for the call and wasting all of our time. That was a
But I just don't think. I think they would have been really conservative with the kid if he played week 1. We all talked about the gauntlet of the schedule to start the year. Yeah. That schedule was very different from what Shedeur has faced so far. That's all.
Is there a snowstorm on East 90 on 90 East 90 East? Because I'm looking at the
west side of Cleveland.
I just saw TV, and it was like a complete blizzard from what it looked like on the screen.
Well,
and it's a mess on 90.
The current report I have, and this is official report, I can read this now. Roads are atrocious, and it's happening fast. That's from Keith Britton.
It's from Keith. That's our version of Ground Fox.
Careful.
It's what we have right now.
It's our Ground Britain.
Well done. Well done by you crafty bastard. Well done. Daryl Ryder coming up next. We got some questions for him about football, and he's going to answer them on the Fan.
Anthony Lima for Q.
football all starts out at 7 o'clock right here on 92.3 The Fan. From the University Hospital Sports Desk, I'm Jeff Thomas.
Sign up to be a part of the fan club. Download the free Odyssey app and follow 92.3 The Fan to get all of the best audio and best stories sent straight to your inbox. 92.3thefan.com.
I-90, complete mess on the west side. And Lima's like, are these old pictures that Keith's sending us right now? Because Keith has stopped in traffic. It's a total snowy mess on the west side of the town. But we're downtown. I saw like one snowflake drop, and that's it.
I thought he was playing a practical joke on us. Because Keith is a joker.
Oh, he's a prankster, all right.
I feel like there's so many times where I'm driving home and it's clear downtown and you hit like Lakewood and it's just an absolute mess.
Keith doesn't joke about these things. He jokes about, you getting fired.
I-90 and Clegg right now on the TV.
There it is. Yeah, that's bad.
Oh!
He's done that like a million times. Like, but he hasn't done it since he's been my boss, but like before he was our boss, he's like, listen, I gotta warn you about something. And I'd be like, what? What? And he'd be like, the toilet's clogged. You fall for everything. I'm like, what are you are a psycho.
I think you fall for everything.
He said, yeah. He said, I fall for everything.
Yeah.
That's why I have to check these things on the internet about Tim McCarver being his father-in-law. What? Who?
These tickets.
Yeah, tickets.
Ohio
Falls for
State,
tickets.
Hey, we had
Here we go. Boom.
Jake Diebler on yesterday.
Giveaway.
We could not get Woj. He decided not to come on with us. 92.3 The Fan looking for a winner. Enter the code word.
Oh, he didn't. He didn't even ask.
Court, COURT at 923thefan.com before 10 a.m. Your chance to win a pair of tickets to the Cleveland Hoops Showdown this Saturday, December 13th. Rocket Arena featuring Ohio State versus West Virginia and Ohio, and Jeff Bowles taking on St. Bonaventure starting at 5 p.m.
Baskin's going to come in mad at us for that one too, or
get your tickets at rocketarena.com. I apologize.
I'll put the safety back on. I didn't say anything. I was like, ain't my fault. I didn't do nothing. I ain't saying nothing to nobody. I hope his shoulder gets better. That's all I'm going to say to Baskin. All right, let's bring in Daryl. Daryl's, Owen, if you want to tell everybody, please.
Always brought to you by Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
Thank you very much, Owen. Here's Daryl. Hello, Daryl.
Hello, boys.
Shedeur Sanders is going to start the season at quarterback for the Browns in 2026.
If he plays well these next 4 weeks,
come on, answer the question right now. Yes or no?
I can't answer the question.
Answer the question. Answer the question.
Enough information.
Answer the question.
We need more data points.
Yes
the Browns
or
front
no?
office would say.
Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? Do it.
Sure, why not?
Come on, that's not still an answer, but the hell with it. Fine, Tone, take it away.
All right, Daryl, obviously, this is a great opportunity now for all the sabotaging that was allegedly done. I mean, Shedeur Sanders has a legit shot to make this an easier decision for the Browns, despite the 2 first-round picks, to not go after a quarterback. So how well does he seriously need to play here down the stretch against playoff teams, but some defenses that are vulnerable?
Well, I think if he continues to show the growth that we've seen these last couple of weeks, it will make the decision much more difficult. And honestly, I'm in the camp of that's really what I'm hoping for. That he is able to play well enough to get a shot in 2026, and they use those first-round picks on things they need really bad. They need receiver help. They got to rebuild the entire offensive line potentially next year. So I'm hoping that they're able to use those picks on those spots. Okay, maybe you draft another quarterback in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, whatever again, but hopefully Shedeur gets a shot in 26. And here's the other part of that coin. If he doesn't do it, right, if he doesn't play well in 26 and he doesn't show you that he can do this at the level that you expect or you need him to, well, you know where you're going to be in the standings, and you'll be in position to be able to use your first-round pick on one of these top quarterbacks that are supposedly going to be coming out in the 27 draft.
Daryl, do you think that he will compete with Deshaun Watson?
I don't think so. I don't know that right now the Browns are in a hurry to play Deshaun. I think that obviously Deshaun's going to be on the roster next year. He's going to still be the elephant in the room. They've got to keep him, I think we talked about earlier in the week, they have to keep him until March of 2027 for salary cap management purposes so that they can cut in half the 2027 salary cap hit and kick that other half into 2028. Then he'll officially be off the books completely after the 2028 season. But that is not from a, hey, the Browns really, truly are looking at Deshaun Watson to play football for them. It's all about cap management at this point to get out of that fully guaranteed contract.
Daryl, how do you think Shedeur handles the sub-zero conditions at Soldier Field on Sunday?
Well, he played at Colorado, so he's used to playing in lousy weather.
Like this? As cold as this?
Look, he played well last week in the snow.
He did.
4 touchdowns, pretty good. And look, I don't think either one of these teams are going to play very well offensively in the snow. I'm not exactly expecting an offensive shootout between them because the bitter cold changes things, but and I certainly am not going to be looking at this as a referendum on Shedeur Sanders. I know every game that he plays, everybody's going to be looking at it as a referendum of whether or not he's going to make it in the NFL, whether or not he's going to start for the Browns next year, whether or not he should, even though they said he's going to start the rest of the season, whether or not he should start the rest of the season. I'm not, because of the forecast being what it is, I'm not approaching this weekend like this is the referendum on whether or not Shedeur Sanders can do it. Just want him to
Are you turning off evaluations then this weekend?
No, I'm not turning off evaluations. Look, I mean, I certainly don't want to see him go out there and throw 4 interceptions. Chicago's got a great defense that turns the ball over. They've got 18 interceptions. They lead the NFL with a plus 17 turnover ratio. So he's got to make smart decisions out there. Of course, Ken. I'm not saying that I'm just going to be dismissive if he goes out there and be completely. No,
listen, that bass in your voice talking to me there, Daryl. I like that. Keep it going.
No,
I'm
just
turn
saying,
this up.
I'm not turning off evaluations, as you put it. If he's careless with the ball, then that's going to be used against him, and you've got to be careful against Chicago with the ball. But the thing that I like most about him right now is that some of the things that we were pointing out in the second half of the Ravens game, and even his first official start against the Raiders, he's like making corrections, just like we've talked about the Jerry Jeudy situation and the correction that he made there. The fact that he acknowledged the interception, that was a dumb mistake on his part. He shouldn't have thrown that ball. He was trying to light a spark. He took a chance. It blew up in his face. He learned from that situation. We've seen where he'd take a sack and it would kick them out of field goal range. Well, he's learning not to take those sacks and throw the ball away and live to fight another down and things like so. The growth that we're seeing from him and learning from the mistakes, that's what has me so excited about him. And hopefully on Sunday he takes care of the ball, doesn't get careless with it, this Browns offense is still able to move the ball in the bitter cold.
Well, one of the things they're going to have to do to certainly help out Shedeur is get that running game going, and it's been really, really tough sledding for their rookie running back Quinshon Judkins over the last month. Have they alluded to what they think the issue is in the running game? Is it as simple as the offensive line and the fact that guys are getting to Judkins before the line of scrimmage, or is he making any mistakes?
I think that's a big part of it is the fact that the offensive line is in shambles, but that is on the list of things to ask Tommy Rees today when we talk to him to get his thoughts on what might be going wrong with that run game. And there's no question they're struggling. Earlier, Judkins was leading the NFL in yards after contact. He was running through tackles. That's not happening as much as we saw earlier in the season. Is that part of just the proverbial rookie wall that we hear so much about? Is it just the fact that the offensive line is the mess that it is due to injuries and guys not being available? You lost Ethan Posick now for the season, and so Luke Whippler's going to be in there, and he'll have an opportunity. Speaking of auditioning for jobs, he'll be auditioning for a job next year. because really none of the starters are signed for 2026. So, and they're going to, and you're right, Anthony, they're going to need the run game on Sunday. They're going to have to be able to run the ball at Soldier Field if they're going to come out of there with a win, because it's just the conditions are not going to be ripe for Shedeur Sanders to be asked to throw the football 40 to 50 times.
Is this an attractive job if Kevin Stefanski is let go?
Which for Kevin, for the head coaching,
head coaching position.
I was going to say the front office job, it's a little more challenging just because of the cap situation. Head coach, I think so. You've got a solid defense to work with, and then offensively, if they go the offensive route to replace Kevin, at least going into the job, you have an opportunity to have a significant impact on rebuilding that offense, because let's be honest about it, Ken, that's what needs to happen. The offense needs to be rebuilt from a personnel standpoint, so you would think that the new head coach would have some influence over the personnel that would be acquired.
All right.
I was going to ask another
question. Go ahead. Ask your follow-up.
Don't worry about it. Go ahead.
What was it? Now I'm curious to see what your follow-up was.
The attractive job if Kevin was let go. Do you think Kevin wants to be here?
Yeah, I think he wants to be here. I'm sure he's probably frustrated.
Why do I keep seeing possibilities about other jobs then?
Well, and that's the thing. This is the time of year where people go shopping, and they throw the lines out there. We've had stories about Tommy Rees. We've had stories about Kevin Stefanski, and that's not an accident. And for the duration of time that he has been here, things have been pretty buttoned up. And so the fact that we're seeing those stories out there is certainly attention-grabbing. I will grant you that, Ken. I do believe, though, there is a little level of frustration. I don't believe that he and the front office are as tied to the hip as they used to be.
How could you be?
Just because I think the Joe Flacco trade was a major fracture point. I think that, and I have said this, and this is my opinion, my own personal belief, I don't think that Kevin Stefanski gets the autonomy that he might want. I think that because this is the way the Cleveland Browns have always been run, but we don't know because, well, they never tell us who's actually accountable for anything in that building. And so they have all this plausible deniability, and we're always asking, who's responsible for this? Who made that decision? Well, we're not going to tell you. And so we're left with is speculation. But I don't think that he gets to make every decision that gets to be made, even though he gets up there in front of us and says that he's the one that made those decisions.
Okay, go right on ahead now, Tone.
Do we think that, now knowing what we know, where it certainly looks like not only was Shedeur Sanders readier than a lot of people thought, me included, is there a world where he should have started week one for this team?
I wouldn't go that far, but I do feel like, and the reason I say no, Anthony, just because he got no reps in training camp. Now, if you want to talk about should they have done this differently, should they have given him more offseason reps, hindsight 2020, absolutely. Look, they wasted our time with Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett, plain and simple.
Yeah, there were four guys there.
Yeah, they did, and there were times in training camp where he literally was throwing footballs to the ball boys because they ran out of wide receivers in the drill. So, hindsight being 2020, they should have gotten him prepared to play much faster than they did.
Where else would you want to be a ball boy in the NFL but right here, right now? That's amazing.
Hey, you know what? Those guys would be able to tell stories to their kids and grandkids about how they caught passes during training camp from Shedeur Sanders.
Hell yes. Yes. That'd be amazing. All right, you got anything more for Daryl? Daryl, if we all went out to dinner over at Lima's house, do you think we would leave hungry?
No.
Why?
Because I kind of feel like the Limas can put a feast on the table.
I think they cook good food. I just don't think they're going to cook enough of it.
Oh, well, you're invited, right?
What are you trying to say?
Oh, I'm not trying to say it. I was just asking a question.
Are you trying to say I'm fat?
You're the one saying that you're afraid they wouldn't cook enough food, not me.
I don't think they would. They eat like birds. I was just saying. I mean, if you want to call me fat, just call me fat, Daryl.
No,
just say you're fat, Ken. Just say it.
I would not do that.
Say it. Say it now.
Although earlier this week, I love the unboxing videos, and I just hope that they're sending you the right size to wear.
So you know what? That's even meaner than just calling me fat, Daryl. Thank you very much for the time.
You know I love you, brother.
I love you too, Daryl. You take care.
You guys have a great weekend.
You as well. Daryl Ryder, Owen.
Oh, he's brought to you by Scheiben Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store.
Away you go,
Kenny,
there, Tom.
during the interview, I asked that question about the running game, needing to get the running game going this week, especially with the conditions and all of that. Right now, Judkins is averaging 3.7 yards per carry. That is the lowest yards per carry. Do you know how far you have to go back, Kenny, for a leading rusher of the Browns? How far you got to go back to find a yards per carry that low?
Montario Hardesty.
Wow. That would have been an interesting guess. No, you have to go past Terrence West.
Wow.
In 2014. You got to go to Willis McGahee in 2013, who averaged 2.7. Right now, it really looks like, honestly, like Trent Richardson was 3.6 in his rookie year. That's kind of the season that Judkins is having, even though with our eyes, wouldn't you say Judkins is better than Trent Richardson?
Hell yeah.
So it just kind of tells you the struggles of that offensive line in the run game.
He's able to rip them off. It's just this offensive line, and that's why, again, there's so many different conversations, and it's like you guys struggle on offensive line. That's why I want to give credit to Shedeur, and you're giving credit to Shedeur for his game too. That's part of the reason I hate the Tennessee thing. Like Jeffrey Simmons is a good pass rusher who basically owned an entire series at one point. Jeffrey Simmons is a great guy who can make the stops, who can get to the quarterback. It's like I know that Tennessee sucks. You're not a good team either, and your offensive line is either not great or falling apart because of injury. And so if he's able to stand back there and deliver, give him credit for that, which you do.
Yeah, it's not hard to do.
Coming up next, I'm wondering if you can give him some credit and not bring him back. I think it's fine. Also, do we have some audio of Devin Bush we're going to play coming up here in a minute?
Yeah, we'll probably rejoin.
Ooh, Devin Bush on the Fan.
Anthony Lima for Floors with a Z.
It is going to be cold on Sunday. And to preview this game, we welcome in Devin Bush. Devin, thanks for joining us. Cold weather coming up. You played at Michigan. Where are you from originally, by the way?
Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Long ways.
You went from nice weather to just
icebox.
Michigan, Pittsburgh, Cleveland. Now you got to go play at Chicago.
Yeah.
Boy, do you like snow?
I don't like it at all, not one bit. But I guess it's part of my life, part of my journey. So I'm gonna just stick with it.
Hey, I'm from here and I don't like it. So
exactly.
Everybody's supposed to act like, you're supposed to embrace it. Go, no, it's way too cold.
It gets worse every year.
Yeah. I know. I know what I look like, but I'm actually a freeze baby.
Freeze baby.
I don't like. You know what that is? You don't like cold weather, and I don't like cold weather. It's Devin Bush with me yesterday. He was awesome.
There's a lot of great stuff I went through and perused your interview with him. It's probably the best stuff here.
Really? Good.
Yeah, here we go.
All right, one word to describe this interview.
Fluent. I like
it.
It's like a combo. I like this. It's like a conversation between us two. You know, you're not asking me these obvious questions like, what do you have to do to stop the run this week? It's like,
You make me feel so good about myself. I pride myself on not doing that. So what do you have to do to stop the run this week? No, I'm kidding.
Jesus.
He's so much fun. You got any more? Or is that it?
That's it.
Oh, he's great. He's great.
I don't know how you go back and listen to it, but if you can hear that whole Devin Bush thing.
I think it's available on our app at the end of the week and their app. It was great because at the end of it, I teased for Around the League, and we were going to talk about Phillip Rivers. And he even responded to it on mic when I'm teasing the Phillip Rivers thing. He is absolutely awesome. So it makes it. I know they're 3-10. I know that not a lot of people are very happy. He's one of the guys that make it likable. And no, I did not get a chance to ask him about Sharon Moore. Moore was still the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines at the time I talked to Devin Bush.
Dodge that bullet.
And then we were, which was weird because they were going, well, we didn't know this about Sharon Moore, so you could talk about him in Around the League. And then we saw that he was getting arrested. And we were like, yeah, just going to wait and let this thing play out before we start giving commentary on Moore. Have you changed any of your thought about who you think should be the next coach over there?
Well, I had brought up Jed Fish. You brought up the guy. I mean,
Jed Fish is a possibility. Yeah, certainly.
Swinging for the fences, and then think about too what this does to, the merry-go-round, the dominoes that are going to fall.
No,
because Michigan is going to be plucking somebody significant from Power 4. So this whole coaching carousel is going to get pretty nuts now if that happens. If it is DeBoer, think about leaving at Alabama. If the Alabama job opens up, what that would do, very different from if just say, the Washington job opens up.
It was, I still think Washington's a pretty good job. I don't know why everybody's dumping on Washington all of a sudden. It's not Michigan. Mm-hmm. So if Jed Fish wanted out there, there were rumors about him going to UCLA, which I don't think is as good of a job as Washington, but apparently he and his family do not like being in Washington. From everything I've been told about other things, and I don't want to get into that too terribly long. I think that Jed Fish would be a good possibility and a good hire. He's good with quarterbacks, Bryce Underwood. I think what you said makes a lot of sense. I think my guy, I would like them to take a swing at Kalen DeBoer first. I think that he'd be a big get for them. He'd be a guy replacing somebody. I think you see it totally different if he goes to Michigan. At Alabama, you're replacing a legend. I think people are waiting for him to fail in some way and go after him. They're waiting for it. Even Alabama fans are. Michigan, it's like, man, as long as you don't do the things that he's accused of, you're going to be just fine because you'll win 10, 11 games every year. You'll be in the college football playoff conversation because you're a Big Ten school. You'll be in the Big Ten championship conversation because you're one of the better programs in the Big Ten. It would work out just fine. I think realistically, though, it goes from him to probably Kenny Dillingham gets a call at Arizona State, and then I do think it probably ends up somewhere in the neighborhood of P.J. Fleck from Minnesota. And it's been a solid enough program. They do not make the investment that other teams make in the Big Ten.
Okay,
they should, but they don't. And I think he might be ready to go.
Obviously, an Ohio State fan. Went to Ohio State. Should I be scared of any of the names you just mentioned?
No. You're Ohio State. You shouldn't be afraid of anybody. Unless God himself decided to be the head coach of the Michigan Wolverines.
When they hired Harbaugh, and I made my
you
jokes.
Be afraid of any of them.
I made my jokes about Harbaugh, but I instantly respected Michigan when they hired him. And then, we obviously beat him a bunch, but eventually, I can't say he got the last laugh. He just got a more recent laugh because he beat us, and they won the national championship. But then he left, and it has been scandal, 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 scandal. in the wake of him leaving. So because of that, and I think we're in agreement here, I expect them to want to go outside the family this time around.
216-474-0092. This is not going to be met well. I want to make sure you're on the record because you're gone after today.
Mm-hmm.
Is tomorrow your colonoscopy or what are you doing?
No.
All right, then never mind. I don't want to talk about it then. Do you hold him accountable? Do you evaluate? The weather is moving into downtown Cleveland, so Keith brought it with him. Do you evaluate Shedeur, or do you turn off the evaluation, or do you change your evaluation? Because Daryl brought it up, because of the weather.
Yeah, so I wonder, does this game look like that Saints game did? Do you remember how crazy the Saints game was on Christmas Eve? However many years ago. Was it 4 years ago? Where it was impossible for the teams to throw the ball down the field. Weren't they using Taysom Hill in that game? Pretty much throughout. And is my memory serving me correctly at all?
Believe so.
In that game?
Yes.
And it was just an ugly, ugly affair.
Well, they were up 10-0 at half. They ended up losing like 14-10.
Yeah, and I thought the game was over. I thought
maybe 17-10.
There was no chance. I was impressed last week, big time, by forget about the yards and accounting for the 4 touches, just in command in the weather. Like, it was not a big deal. This is going to be very different weather, it looks like. This is just going to be brutal, bitter cold.
Yes.
And I know people bring up, well, he played in Colorado. I
brought up that he played in Colorado.
I don't think most NFL players have not played in temperatures that feel like, negative 20. So this would be new for a lot of players.
Well, it's cold is... It's harder to snow in really, really, really extreme cold. Obviously, it does. Like, when I see snow, I'm like, well, at least it's 20. Like, it's still not as cold as what negative 20 is, obviously. Boy, that sounds silly as hell, but I'm a real Dick Goddard over here.
I
can't imagine him out there just shivering and not being able to throw the football because it's cold outside on Sunday.
Yeah.
If he has a bad game Sunday, I'll promise everybody this, I'm not going to come in and lose my mind and say that this is why you go get a quarterback number 1 overall.
Yeah,
I will want to see more, and I feel with you, I will be bummed that maybe we were robbed of another opportunity here. Now, if he goes out there and he just is whatever over the final 3 games of the season, then the 2 at home and the 1 on the road, if he's just whatever, I'm not going to turn this into, we got robbed of an opportunity. It's like, well, no, there's going to be other games. Now, it's still not supposed to be very warm throughout the rest of the year, but I'm sorry. He played in Boulder. He's perfectly fine. I don't think that that's a problem. I had to get you on the record before you were out tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm not going crazy. Look, it's going to be tough. Do you see the injury report for the Browns yesterday? It's everybody. Everybody didn't practice yesterday. So, they were without Denzel Ward didn't practice. Obviously, Batonio Conklin did not practice. The list goes on.
I had it on me, and I don't now.
Yeah, the Grant Delpit, sickness and groin. Aiden Huntington.
Conklin, Njoku, Dylan Sampson, Brendan Bates, Cedric Tillman, Mason Graham, Carson Swessinger, Tyson Campbell. Are you just talking about the offense?
I'm talking about everybody.
Tyson Campbell, Grant Delpit, Aiden Huntington, Rayshawn Jenkins.
There's a bunch of guys there. And so...
There's Ethan Posick and Wyatt Teller. Teller's going to be out this week. Ethan Posick's done for the year.
Right. So... there's a lot working against him. So no, if he struggles and looks like a 5th-round pick this week, I am not going to come on the air and tell everybody there, you guys all at victory laps last week. No, that's stupid. Like, the Bears need this game. They want this game badly. You're on the road. The line's up to 7.5 now.
Yes.
So this is a tough spot, but this is what I do love about this game. As much as I hate that the weather's going to be that bad, what I love is, man, if he plays well, you're just answering so many questions every time out, and you're doing it under the worst of situations. This is not a good situation this week. People bring up that Rams game in the preseason. Well, he was playing with guys that were bagging groceries, and I'm like, all right, this is very different. This is the NFL. Like, he's playing with a lot of backups, and we don't love the receiving room, obviously, but if he's able to weather the storm quite literally this weekend, bravo.
Hell of a point.
Like, come on. You're checking off boxes left and right.
There is a big game tonight, and this, we're about to play for you, is going to sound real familiar to a lot of Browns fans out there. Ken Carman, Tone Master General. Take us with you to work if you're not already there, or if you are, watch us on YouTube for absolutely free.
It's Anthony Lima for Fanatic.
website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Whenever you need to talk about the Browns, we got you covered. We are Sports Radio 92.3 The Fan.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have an update for you. We have argued about this because it started with because other 3-10 teams are just 3-10 teams. With us, we are never just 3-10. There's always going to be intrigue. And the question was, yesterday, was Shedeur Sanders wearing a jock strap or a thong, for crying out loud, during the game? Ended up being back tape. He can wear whatever he wants. You want to feel sexy, you want to feel secure, whatever you want to feel like, that's perfectly fine with me. You want to wear some Hanes her way, like Deb Carman, circa 96? You go right on ahead, Shedeur. If you're going to play like that, wherever you want. But I said, what if he needs a onesie? To which you guys looked at me like I was a total idiot. And I said, no, Otto Graham wore a onesie. And my buddy who works at the Hall of Fame, he said, I wasn't able to get, the Otto Graham is not on display. That's packed away right now. However, he sent me the picture of the jersey of Jim Brown. And as you guys will see, onesie style. Legs are out. This one don't even have the snaps at the bottom.
No,
it
doesn't.
So
what if he has to go
taking
use
the whole thing off, I guess.
Like it's a romper?
You're taking the whole thing off like a romper. So once you're in, you're in. You better use the bathroom before you go play sports.
Just remember that when you're like, those were real men, until he had to go to the bathroom and finesse it over his body.
There you go. Finesse it over his body.
And all his downstairs parts.
Stop. So can I do a champion's pose on onesie uniforms?
Kenny was right. That's why he's Mr. History.
Yeah, if anybody who's going to know football history know about onesie uniforms, you're going to what? I'm just going to say that out of nowhere and not think about it? Come on.
I would just think that's a little too
it's
confining.
Your smarmy attitude of acting like you were the only one that knew that.
I did know. I knew.
I
knew.
Any football
You guys
guy
both
knew
called.
that.
No, you didn't. You didn't call me out.
I didn't call you out on it yesterday.
No, you wanted to, and you did. You did.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I just want to let you guys all know that.
You get much like everything we talk about, you get things in your head and then you run with that. And that's the only version.
So be it. It makes it even better. I just want everybody to know your guys' football heroes from yesteryear all wore onesies like your infant child. Tonight, on Thursday Night Football, your Cleveland Browns. No, you're home for the NFL on Westwood One, 92.3 The Fan. We'll have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosting the Atlanta Falcons. Greg Cosell was on Ross Tucker's football podcast. I want you guys to listen to this and take a stroll down memory lane, shall we?
You start the season out, he looked so decisive. He knew where to go with the football. The ball came out. He made some plays with his legs. I would say over this last month, he's looked indecisive. If that first option has not been available, sometimes it looks as if he almost creates his own pressure. He just looks very uncomfortable. That chemistry he had early in the season with Ibuka, that seems to have begun. I think it's a combination of many things. Usually that's the case. You know, their O-line took a hit with their left guard, Bredesen. He's now out for the year, and I think that's kind of an overlooked thing because, you have an O-line that's essentially playing most of the season, developing a chemistry. That's gone now.
Does it or does it not sound familiar? Yeah. Greg Cosell.
Yeah. Well, and in his defense, obviously, that injury is...
Well, who's he talking about?
He's talking about... I'm sorry.
Yes.
He's talking about Baker Mayfield.
So Baker,
Thank you.
Damn, I didn't even realize. I thought it was clear as day when I said Tampa, but you know what? You're right. It's been a long time since I said Tampa. Maybe they didn't know.
For a lot of our newer fans on YouTube Live, Baker was this quarterback who's very, very controversial at times. Played really good football for the Browns. Then tried to play through an injury. All sides ended up looking really bad. Baker, we thought he was that step away from being out of the league. He ends up resurfacing.
He ran scout team D-line at one point.
Yes, he did. And now here he is. He got off to a hot start the first month and a half of the season. They were talking MVP, but he got injured again. And it clearly is impacting his play, just like it did when he tried to fight through it in Cleveland. And so now here's what we're all wondering. Like, he's won some playoff games there, right? Does he have 2 playoff wins with Tampa Bay?
So I went back. I think
the
he
one
does.
in Cleveland.
But I went back and I've watched. I went back and I watched almost everything since the injury. And Greg Cosell obviously knows way more about football than I do. But I just, to back it up, like I know how I sound like, because anybody who's from Cleveland is going to sound like a Bitterman. But when he was here, our whole argument, and I said everybody knows he's tough. Nobody says that Baker Mayfield isn't tough. Problem is, he might be too tough because he plays through these injuries, and the problem is he's not 6'5" like Josh Allen.
Yeah,
exactly. So Josh Allen's big enough where he can kind of one-arm it here and there and get by. Ben Roethlisberger was the same way. Ben Roethlisberger could kind of one-arm it and get by. Baker needs his whole body, and you're seeing a shoulder injury affect how he's able to move his whole body.
And when he was taking on those big hits and getting out on third downs, making these miraculous plays, the one thing we were saying was these plays are amazing. He cannot keep taking those hits.
And I'll tell you what, Ibuka's had some drops.
Yes.
So I think that part of his indecision has been, is he going to catch it? So now I have to be even more perfect, or I'm going to get picked off and we're going to be in a bad spot. They've taken on a little bit of water. They're 7-6. This is a big game for them. This is a big game for them to get right. I think that Raheem Morris is probably going to get let go at the end of this year, more than likely. So this is I think so. I mean, Atlanta Falcons fans are pretty upset with the way things are going. I mean, they could have been a playoff team before. They're 4-9.
I think actually everybody's getting cleaned out of that situation.
Yeah, I think that they've had enough of that. But well, yeah, once one guy goes, another guy goes. So you're probably right about that. But I think that for Tampa Bay, yeah, you could turn around, hand the ball off, try to do it that way. But this is the same thing that we said. It's just we got emotional about it. He got emotional about it. They're just going to have to reassess everything they want to do as far as not with Baker, without Baker. They will do that. But they need to get ready for next year already and how to plan once he's healthy.
And that NFC is so wide open. That outside the Rams, if he would have played like he had played earlier in the year, you could have made a case.
This is something that's going to hamper him for the rest of the year because these injuries do. They're going to have to evaluate how they make a plan to work with this going into 2026 and 2027 and beyond. I imagine he's going to be their franchise guy. I'm not doing any victory laps. I don't think anybody should. We're still in a tough spot. Fans are in a tough spot everywhere. I'm not seeing the Baker fans go nuts like I used to all the time. So that, I guess, is kind of nice, but we're dealing with our own and figuring out whether or not our young quarterback is going to be a franchise guy. But, man, what a walk down memory lane that audio was. Like, oh, boy. Because before we lost our minds, and we all did, myself included, before we lost our minds, it was like, yeah, he's injured. He's playing injured. Maybe he should sit. Well, he wants the bag. Well, who else are we going to play? Is it Stefanski, the only one who's been still here? Kevin and Andrew. What a year. Big thanks to everybody who joined us today. Mary Kay was excellent. Daryl Ryder, even more excellent. Called me fat. We had a good time. Everybody had a good laugh around it. Well, I made him call me fat. Jason Lloyd in tomorrow. Lace enjoyed. Think he's going to make some friends tomorrow morning?
I want to see if he flip-flops.
I'm going to put on my helmet.
They've been taking him to task.
You think you've been mean, folks? Tomorrow's going to be one where I'm going to have to put on my helmet and go to war for Shador. Tomorrow's going to be a rough day for me. For Mary Kay, for Daryl, for Mitch, for Owen, for the Slippery Wizard Anthony Lima, for Jeff, I'm Ken Carman. Have a wonderful day, my friends. Take care. Be careful in that weather, too.
You're not booing, but you clap.
Hey.
Sounds good.
Where's your entourage now?
Cool, I got on the last show.
Loser town, loser fans, and you guys are a loser show.